by Mickey Cavill. This guy again. Yo, and welcome to another episode of With Enough Prep Time. I'm just the Nerd Man, and today we are tier ranking the DC universe. Yeah, we're tier ranking the DC animated universe. So it's DC animated movies as such that will be tier ranking. So it's the solo movies, it's the universe, it's everything, and this is all because I have just seen Batman: The Long Halloween, and of course, in the tier ranking, I'm gonna get to discuss that movie as well. Um, just to say, I want to basically go over the DC animated universe just a little bit before I go on to actually talk about to actually tier rank these things. So the DC animated universe has been obviously a spectacular universe, much better than the DCEU has been in terms of its output. I really love the DC animated universe films. I think they're really quality films, which I wish the DCEU would take a step from them. My only criticisms of the DC animated universe is maybe a little bit too much Batman and Superman. Hasn't really been a Flash solo movie. That's weird to me. There's only been one kind of Shazam solo movie, nothing from Martian Manhunter. I think the real thing about this is, I think this is a good medium, one, to expose some of the great comic runs of the lesser known characters. So I would think that they would do something like that. Maybe even just double features where they do something with Superman and then do another hour and 30-minute movie like Martian Manhunter or Flash or something like that. If they're worried that a Flash movie won't sell, which is so fucking bizarre to me. But if they're really that concerned that it won't sell, then maybe dip their toe in with double features, like do two movies at a time, and do one Batman, and one Flash movie, so that you're really selling the Flash movie. So that's my main criticism. It's very Batman heavy, and that will play into when I discuss this latest offering of the Long Halloween. There's been really like three different phases, as you will, if you want to think about it in terms of the MCU of the DC animated universe. The first were the solo movies, which were really based on graphic novels, and they will talk about them as we go along. The second was an animated universe. It was like really as such, like very much a whole universe of connected films with some solos in between. And then the last phase, which we are having, is one where they've just done a different the Batman Long Halloween is in, and it's a different animated style that many people mock for having similarities with the what is the cartoon called? It's a spy cartoon. I'm now trying to think of this cartoon. Why do I not look these things up before? But it's basically a more simplistic style than the former style of DC animated movies. It's much more, wow, there's a specific thing that would like nail exactly what I'm talking about, but I just can't think of it. It's like I don't know, but I'm just do something quickly. But yeah, I'm gonna look it up. It's annoying me. Archer. So it is very much the new style is kind of like in the style of Archer, and so far we've had 4 movies in that particular universe. So it's a new rebooted DC animated universe after the last one. So yeah, that's basically the latest one that we've seen essentially. And I think that one was. I thought it was. Well, we'll go into what I think about those films. Sorry, I'm trying to do a couple of things at the same time, but then I'm gonna get straight to it. Yeah, like the this new Archer style has some real. I think it's got. There's really good things about it, but there's some real drawbacks, which I'm gonna get into very, very specifically because I think the drawbacks. Um, I don't want to give away too much, but I think there's certain aspects of the drawbacks that I wish um, I hope they resolve in future. Put it that way. But I'm going to go over the drawbacks once I get to those movies. And um, yeah. So 1 second. Hang on with me 1 second. Okay. Right. Good. So I just had a problem because, like, I was looking at the tier list that you see up here, and I was just having a problem with it. All right. So good. Um, Now I'm gonna go on to actually starting to rank these movies. Hey, Mama Bear. How Mads Mama Bear? How's it going? So I'm gonna go on to start ranking, or sorry, start like the tier ranking of these movies, and eventually I'll get to Batman Long Halloween. I won't take too long. I'm not gonna like make you wait for so long to get to that one. But let's start off with All Star Superman. Now, this is one that I think is hugely, hugely underrated as a DC animated movie. Oh, sorry, I have to explain the tier rankings first of all. So, my first level of tier ranking, let me start at the bottom. The least level of tier ranking, I used a quote for a DC movie that I hate. Let's kick some ice. Which, as you probably know, is Batman and Robin. So obviously that is complete garbage. It's one of the worst movies ever made, and I'm not even being hyperbolic about that. So let's kick some ice is, one of those quotes that was said by Mr. Freeze, played wonderfully by Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I decided, yeah, that will be my garbage tier. In Blackest Night is like kind of, I would say bad tier, which is Green Lantern. Obviously the quote from the Green Lantern movie. And here's where I'm gonna because I think that was I think Green Lantern movie has some redeeming qualities to it, even though I think on balance it's a bad movie. But here's where I'm gonna piss some people off. My mediocre, my meh tier is MCU. So As people know that I'm not the always the biggest fan of some of these MCU movies. Hello, yeah, Batman and Robin was hot trash. That's true. I'm not a big fan of some of these MCU movies. So, I tend to annoy people with my opinions on them. I don't think they're all that bad, but I like to troll people a bit about the MCU. So MCU is kind of my meh tier because I just find a lot of MCU movies meh. There are some great ones, no doubt, but like a lot of them are meh to me. They're just not very interesting. Snydery is kind of like my has good things about it and has bad things about it, and they kind of like balance out. So I'm pissing off two fan bases already, right? I'm pissing off MCU fans, I'm pissing off Snyder fans as well. But Snyder, I think, his films are pretty divisive. I like a lot of them, like BVS. I like uh, uh, what was it? The Zack Snyder's Justice League, I think, is fantastic. But every single movie of his, even going back to Watchmen, uh, has things that are so Zack Snydery that that you could kind of like just you can see why some people might not like the movies. Basically, that's how I would put it. Even though I like them, I can see why some people might not like them. So that's why I put them there. Like these movies are good, but I could see why some people wouldn't like them. That kind of thing. My next level is Shazam. This level is for films like Shazam, Wonder Woman. It's that kind of level, which I think are pretty great movies. They're decent movies, but they're not perfect. They, for the most part, stuck the landing. I'd even throw Zack Snyder's Justice League in there, even though I've made a Snydery subsection. But like these are movies that didn't quite. These are movies that stuck the landing, but are still, they're not perfect. They're not masterpieces. They're not, without flaw. And then I've got my final tier. They can be a good people, Kal-El. This is my Dark Knight, Superman 1, Superman 2, V for Vendetta, the absolute classic tier movies, where I just think that they're almost flawless, pieces of art. So, or Joker or something like that. So that's my tiers. That's how I'm going to rank them. Tell me if I'm being an asshole. But let's get right into the rankings then. So, All-Star Superman. This one's going to be difficult for me right off the jump. I really love this movie. I think it's got one of the best versions of Lex Luthor we've ever seen. I think for the most part, it's quite faithful to the comic. I do wish it was a little bit longer, like the comic. Like this could have been a great two-parter, like they've done with some of the Batman movies, because that is a long, long comic. But for the most part, I just really think it's an extraordinary film. I love it from beginning to end. I think it's classic Superman done exactly right. And if you do not like this movie, then in all probability, you do not like Superman as a character. There's nothing that will convince you of why Superman is such a necessary and fascinating character if this movie doesn't convince you of it. So I'm going to just put it right out there. This has to be in They Can Be a Good People, Kal-El. This is one of it is great. It is fantastic. So yeah, I don't need to do much more describing there. Hey P man, what's you? What does that mean? I'm not sure. I'm a fan of both MCU and Snyder, not offended. They do have struggles. Little bit of an arse, but it's intentional to still charming. Yeah, man, Kiwi, I'm good, man. I'm fantastic. How are you? Um, yeah. So yeah, going on to the next one. So, I think All Star Superman. I don't know where it ranks. We'll see how it ranks when it comes to all of them. So I'm going to rank them in order as well. So let's look at this one. What is this one? Batman Soul of the Dragon. Now, this one I really, really like. A lot of people don't like this movie or haven't watched this movie because they just maybe didn't get on board with the concept of a 70s Batman. But I would actually give it a go. I think this is a really, really nice introduction in uh, of Batman in the Archer universe. So this is like the most recent Batman movie before the Long Halloween, and as I said, it is definitely uh, it's just a fun movie. It's a really fun 70s flick. It's got a great soundtrack, which is one of the few things that I'm really finding lacking in the latest. I'll call it the Archerverse movies from the DC animated films. They're the latest movies, but this one has a banging soundtrack, and I really like that about it. And it's just a kind of fun look at how Batman trained to become Batman, plus a kind of 70s kung fu movie mixed in as well. Um, so I think in that sense, it's just a really fun movie. I guess the only thing I'm so close to putting it in Shazam, but I just don't think it's. I'll see. Maybe I'm gonna come back and put that in Shazam because I don't think it has many flaws, but I don't think it rises to the heights of many other movies. In some sense, people could call it meh, but it's not. It's just a good, solid film. Fun if you like Batman. Fun if you like 70s kung fu movies. So yeah, that's basically it. All right. So Batman Year One. Batman Year One, I fucking love. And I don't know how to. I think All Star Superman and Batman Year One are exactly on the same level as each other. I couldn't pick one over the other. This to me is, as I said, if you don't like All Star Superman, that animated film, you don't like Superman. If you don't like Batman Year One, that movie, then to me, you don't really like Batman. Like, this is noir detective, like really down, really kind of how would you say, like low tech kind of Batman doing his first year, and it's an incredible movie, incredible script, great. It's a great noir flick, great voice casting. It has uh, 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 my guy from Breaking Bad is plays or Heinberg from Breaking Bad plays Jim Gordon in this movie. It's got great voice acting by the guy who plays Batman as well. He funnily enough played Detective Gordon or Jim Gordon on the TV show Gotham. So he plays Batman in this. And he's fantastic. He does one of my favorite ever interpretations of Batman, where he plays this kind of privileged socialite gadfly who is almost effeminate in how pampered he is, and therefore comes across as somebody who you completely wouldn't consider could be Batman at all. There's just no way this cat could be Batman. And so it's a really, I think it's got one of the best ever dichotomies between Bruce Wayne and Batman in this version of the film. And obviously it's based on the Frank Miller book, and I think it stays quite close to the graphic novel. So it's just a fantastic movie. And again, for all the good it does, I can't, it's pure Batman in many ways, and this one is pure Superman. Like if you're talking about the pure essence and and one of the great graphic novels introducing the concept of Batman and Superman, All-Star Superman and Batman Year One are perfect for that. And so like there's nothing more to say. It's just like it's great. It's a great movie. Bryan Cranston, there you go. Thank you. I loved Soul of the Dragon. Needs a sequel. Oh yeah, you like Soul of the Dragon too. Cool. All right, let's go on to the next one. So we then have Batman Assault on Arkham. I mean, you're gonna get like, this is the thing we're gonna find is like a lot of these movies are just great movies. Like there's not going to be like many down in the lowest rank. I'm curious to see if there is anyone that I would rank in the lowest rank. But Batman Assault on Arkham is the perfect Suicide Squad movie. It is the Suicide Squad movie we probably should have seen in cinemas, and that's coming from somebody who doesn't hate the Suicide Squad as much as the internet seems to. I actually quite like Suicide Squad that we got in the cinemas. I just want to see the Ayer cut because I think it's going to be a much more dark, much more disturbing, and darkly humorous movie. But I felt like we got enough of what he was getting at. I could see it through what we got in the cinemas in that in the kind of cut up commercially edited version of Suicide Squad we got in cinemas. That being said, Batman Assault on Arkham is the perfect fucking it's the perfect Suicide Squad movie, and I wish they had have gone with something like that. And it's Shazam. It's just a solid, fun, entertaining movie. Not too deep. Don't have to think about it too much, but just solidly entertaining. Gets all of the characters right. Deadshot's cool. Amanda Waller's cool. Harley Quinn is annoying, but they do her the best they can. This is my hot take. I find Harley Quinn so annoying as a character. Nearly every version of her I find annoying, apart from, funnily enough, the Suicide Squad movie one. That was the least annoying I ever found Harley Quinn. So this is a great movie. If you don't like the Suicide Squad that we got in cinemas, watch this movie. All right, Batman. Batman Under the Red Hood. I find this movie a little bit overrated. It's not Let's Kick Some Ice, but it is a little overrated. No, guys, I'm just joking. Of course, it's Shazam. That being said, I find it overrated, but like overrated in the sense that people talk about it like it's a masterpiece and it's the greatest DCAU movie. That's all I mean by overrated. So if I'm going to order it, Batman Mask of the, not Mask of the Phantasm, Under the Red Hood, pardon me, is for me the highest on the Shazam level so far. Really, really good movie, very fun, great action, great version of the Joker. Love Black Mask in it. Great, like the Joker here is like, I think almost a lot. He reminds me a lot of Heath Ledger's Joker in a way, like a really dark, sinister, threatening, terrifying Joker who can probably throw hands a little bit as well. Plus, he's a mastermind as well, and he's just really dangerous. So I really like this version of the Joker in here. The guy who plays him is excellent. He plays them with a deliciously cold kind of villainy, where it's not over the top at all, but it's still chilling and hilarious. And of course, the guy who plays Batman in this does a fantastic performance. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Red Hood is a really, really cool in this movie as well. Like if you're a Robin fan, a Nightwing fan, or a Red Hood fan, this is definitely the movie for you. Let's go on. I don't have an icon, unfortunately, for I don't have an icon for Batman The Long Halloween, and that's annoying me. I don't think they've put it up yet. So I'm going to look for Constantine because I haven't seen that movie. Okay, so Constantine, I've seen bits and pieces, but I haven't seen the movie fair enough to judge. So I'm going to use Constantine for Batman The Long Halloween. Okay, part one. I'm going to put it in MCU meh. Now, I'm not saying this is a bad movie at all, and part two might be able to save it, but I found this laborious, boring, and the main thing is with this new Archerverse, the lack of musical score is really starting to hurt these movies. I think it hurt a lot the last movie they did, which was Justice Society, World War II. I think a score would have made that movie much more epic. And I think a score would have made, a good score would have made, Batman The Long Halloween much more epic. DC is known, throughout its animated movies and its live action movies for having great musical scores, things that, are immediately iconic. And not for nothing, that really suits the DC Trinity, especially. Having epic scores for the DC Trinity should be an absolute must. You can't do a movie of theirs like Superman, Batman, or Wonder Woman. You shouldn't really do it for any of the DC characters, to be honest, in the Justice League. But specifically those three, I think it really, really hurts their movies. And so, because each one of their scores, if you look at the scores of Superman, you look at the scores of Batman, and now even the new scores of Wonder Woman, each of the scores have like this personality that imbues the films that they're in with a certain level of gravitas, even if sometimes what is going on screen isn't necessarily that epic. It's just, the fact of them having that score in the background, you associate it with that. And I just think, like that for me really, really hurt the movie. I liked it. I liked Batman The Long Halloween for the most part, but I was getting really tired during bits. Put it this way, of all the straight like adaptations of a graphic novel, this one has to be lower down in the DC animated universe for me. Again, it's not bad. I think the Joker's fun in it. There's a really, really good version of the Joker in it, who's the guy who does like the Mark Hamill impression a lot of the time. But there's just, I think the real thing that hurts it is, one, a lack of the score would have heightened the drama and made the eerie moments. There's a bit where, like, for instance, he's talking to the Calendar Man, who is behind a he's in prison basically, and he's talking to him like, you know, almost like the Hannibal Lecter meets Clarice Starling scene. And you're just like, that scene needs music, you know, and it just seems boring and plain. It's like the soundtrack is missing or something. And I'm thinking of doing this actually. I'm really thinking of just downloading some scenes from some of these recent DCAU animated movies and just putting a score behind them and seeing how it changes the scenes, because some of them should be much more epic and they're not because of that. And yeah, again, it hurt the movie. Story was fine. I liked how they played up that she used to be a psychologist. Yeah. Jensen Ackles' Red Hood was perfect choice. Looking forward to him as Batman. Yep. Agreed. By the way, guys, if you catch this video, Hot Takes Tuesdays tonight. We're going live, Hot Takes Tuesdays, where I'm going to be doing another unpopular opinion, and or sharing another unpopular opinion. Both myself and, of course, Philosophical Pickle will share our unpopular opinion today. And either we'll agree with each other and have a discussion, or we'll have a disagreement and have to debate it out. So I'm looking forward to that one. And yes, so there you go. That's just a little bit of an advertising for that. But Batman: The Long Halloween, I'm trying to think just of the characters as well. So we have Catwoman. Catwoman was nice in it. I like the teasing, of how Two-Face becomes Two-Face. And yeah, it's compelling. A lot of it, you know, it's a retread of what you've seen in The Dark Knight, because obviously The Dark Knight took a lot from the Long Halloween graphic novel. So there's a lot of things that you'll notice, like, oh yeah, that was from The Dark Knight, or I saw that in The Dark Knight. So that happens a lot in this movie. But yeah, apart from that, I wish I could have a better report of the film, but it's not bad at all. Sup, guys? How are you doing? I'm doing well, Blue Arrow. We're just discussing the DC Animated's latest film, Batman: The Long Halloween. Have you seen it? Let me know, guys, in the chat if you've actually seen The Long Halloween yet. Good movie, but something's missing from it, and I hope they correct it in the second installing. So I've used, if you've just joined, I've used Constantine for my Batman: The Long Halloween. Okay, so next one. Put quite simply, the greatest. Oh, this is part one. Part one is still fantastic, so it still goes before these two. So this is Batman, The Dark Knight Returns. It's excellent. I mean, what can I say? The first part is just like the graphic novel, and it's fantastically done. Fantastic score, just epic action. Really, just a really cool Batman story of him older and jaded, and even more jaded, you know, than he already was. There's the Superman storyline. There's him against the government. You know, masks have been outlawed, and he's now, you know, fighting a kind of Reagan-like administration in this kind of futuristic 80s world where there's mutants and you know, like crazy cyberpunk style characters inhabiting the world. And dude, it's just a phenomenal movie from beginning to end. Not one bit is slow or unexciting. It's just pure, unadulterated, cool Batman. That is Batman: The Dark Knight Returns Part 1. And then they just go ahead and top themselves with Part 2. This is where he faces off against Joker and Superman. An older Batman versus a psychotic, one of the best versions of Joker I have ever seen on in any form of universe. I would say it's on par, if not better. I love the different, really, really different, original, unique takes on characters. And I especially love when actors do stuff that I'm not expecting, an interpretation that's a completely different spin from what you'd expect. And this one does that in spades. He is just a cold-hearted psychopath in this film. And he goes from 0 to 100. It's like calm. He really knows, he has a mask of sanity. It's like, and of course this derives, almost, it's adapted very closely from the comics, but still, it took talent to cast the right person to bring the comic version of the Joker in this to life, and I fucking loved it. Then there's Superman. The battle with Superman is epic. Again, probably what Batman v Superman should have been when you think about it. If they had made this movie, maybe the DCU would be in a different place right now. Yellow, what's up? Dude, if you want to jump on, let me know, because I'm just discussing the DC animated universe. I know you love those films, so I'm just going to go ahead and invite you. If you want to jump on, let me know. Yalla, the gunslinger, my fella. Yalla. All right. Let me know if you want to jump on, bro. So yeah, Dark Knight Returns. It's an easy. They will be a good people, Kal-El. Or they can be a good people, Kal-El movie. It's a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece of an animated movie, which I wish they had have just simply made into a live action movie. Because the DCU would be in a whole different place, as long as they didn't cast Jesse Eisenberg as the Joker. Of course. Who knows? If it was Zack Snyder direct, he may have found a way of messing it up somehow anyway. Even with this script. All right. So next one. Oh, what's this one? Batman Gotham Knight. Batman Gotham Knight is a little bit Snydery. I like it a lot. I like the short animated movies. So it was kind of an anthology of Batman stories. What do you call me? You're the I hate your ranking categories. You're the worst. Yeah. So I'm fair though. I put Snydery and MCU. So, yeah, this one, it's an anthology. It's a fun anthology. Some of them work, like these short little Batman stories. Some of them work better than others. Oh, yeah. What's going on?
I absolutely hate them.
You've come to get me.
I hate them. I hate them. The first. How is the top tier? They can be a good people. How is that the top tier?
Because that's a top tier quote. That's the best. That's the better. One of the best things. It's one of my favorite things ever said in a DC movie. And I love Superman 1 and 2. Two of the movies. I think they're classics. I mean, if they were made now, you know, it might be a different thing. But that quote has always been epic. It's probably my favorite thing in a DC movie, and I actually believe it. They can be a good people, Kalo. At least they wish to be. I believe that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you feel that way. That's out of control. There's so many. I mean, any Batman quote really would work.
Fuck all you Batman fanboys, man. I ain't here for that.
Batman movie.
I'm a Superman fanboy. My boy Blue, man. My boy Blue. All right, what other categories are you pissed off at?
All of them. No, all of them. It's just weird to use Shazam as a category. It's just weird.
Well, Shazam for me is a perfect category because I just think that's a good, fun movie.
Right, but like
I think it's just a good, fun movie, and I can't think like there's no fat in that movie, but it's not great as well. It doesn't aspire to be any more than the sum of its parts in a way, right? Like but
it's a tier ranking.
Yeah. So the first one is great, classic. Second one is, you know, it's just a fun, great movie. Third, Snydery. It's a bit, you know, could be a bit divisive. Has, you know, bits that,
not really.
You know, I could see some people not liking. And MCU, meh, because there's a lot of meh in the MCU. A lot of meh.
The disrespect.
There is, man. You might not want to admit it, but there's a lot.
There is. What do you think? Meh is not. All right, so we're not getting into a whole. The MCU is nowhere near as bad as you say it is. Conversation. Yeah, okay. I just don't want to do it, but like, there's no way you can put any of the Snyderverse movies over the MCU movies so definitively that you would then use that as the rankings to categorize other movies. Like there's no way you can look at what the MCU has accomplished and say Snydery should be for movies that are better than this. Like that's a weird.
I don't want to get into the MCU, but I'm going to get into the
I'm
MCU.
not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm just saying there's no way you can look at what the MCU has accomplished and say, dude, if I'm going to use these words to rank other things, I'm going to put these failures and flops over these critically and domestic and box office successful movies. Acclaimed. I'm gonna
it's on Rotten Tomatoes. Most people give them like a C or like B
you said it's
grade.
Just on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, no, they give it a C or B grade, but as an aggregate, it comes out as 90% because they're like giving them like, oh, it's a C, B grade, it's a passing grade, and then when you add it all together as an aggregate,
I don't even know what you're talking about.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, Yellow.
I don't even understand what you're saying.
Exactly what I'm talking about. It's an aggregate grade. Most of those Marvel movies are average, and they get an average grade. But when you aggregate it all together on Rotten Tomatoes, what you get is like 90-something%. That's why something like Captain Marvel, which you know, is I don't even hate it as much as most people, but it's certainly a fucking average movie. I could see a lot of people giving that a C grade, and yet it looks like it's a 90% movie on Rotten Tomatoes. That's what happens. Should we get on to it?
And then, no, wait, because I'm not done yet. First, you have Snydery over MCU, so that's weird. So now it's not even like Snyderverse. It's like it's kind of it's got Snyder-esque accents to it, and you're ranking and you're using that as a way. That's weird. But then In Blackest Night is like lower than In Blackest Night, In Brightest Day, or whatever. In Brightest Day, In Blackest Night. No evil shall escape my might. Like that's one of the hardest quotes in DC history. There's so much like I just don't. There's so much power in the Green Lantern. Like I'm just so confused by the. I don't know
Okay.
how you're ranking the movies because of the mess that you've used to categorize them. I have no idea how you feel about
Let me
Assault on
explain that
Arkham.
one. Let me explain that one because first of all, Snydery is across the board of his films. By the way, I'm not just talking about.
Right. Okay,
I'm not just
sure.
talking about the DCU movies. I'm talking in Watchmen. I'm talking 300. I'm talking.
Sure.
You know,
Sucker
all
Punch.
of them. Sucker Punch. You know, what's the Dawn of the Dead? All of them have something that like certain people just have a like niggling feeling like they dislike. They're all like kind of a little bit divisive in some ways, right? Some more so, some less so. So that's why I used Snydery like that. And Blackest Night, yeah, I should have probably chosen a quote from the movie, like because that's a little bit disrespectful to the Green Lantern quote. But I just meant Green, because Green Lantern is, you know, it's a bad movie. I actually don't find it as bad as some people do. I think
it's quite terrible.
There's fun. I think there's some fun to be had in it.
When
was the last time you watched it?
I watched the extended edition in the last year, I think. Sometime during quarantine, I watched the extended edition to make sure, you know, because I'm like, let me just make sure that it was as trash. Because I do that every few years. I'll be like, let me make sure this was as trash as I thought it was. I'm the same way with food. You know what I'm saying? I grew up hating mushrooms, and now I'm like, I can eat some mushrooms. You know what I mean? So it's like I retry things to see if it's something that, you know, maybe I was in a different headspace or whatever. But that movie is garbage. And does it have some good? Yeah, absolutely has some. I think Ryan Reynolds is perfectly charming as always, and the world. I think they did a good job. They could have done a better job, obviously, but I think they did a good job detailing the scope of the Green Lanterns. You know, even when the movie was just focusing on Ryan Reynolds and his relationship with his girlfriend's father or whatever dumb shit, whatever bullshit was going on in that movie. I think they did a good job, and all of the little Easter eggs, the little Green Lantern Easter eggs, all of the little. So there's stuff to enjoy, you know what I'm saying, and it was funny. There were funny moments, and I think Sinestro was amazing. Mark Strong is. I was going
to mention Mark Strong as Sinestro. I almost wish he didn't. I almost wish, like Shazam, I think it was lazy casting him as Dr. Savannah, because I would have hoped he would have come back as Sinestro one day. Almost, I think that would have been a good way of connecting that movie, but with a good movie. You know, where Sinestro is like the villain.
In the same way they did with Deadpool.
I also, honestly, you know, the guy who plays Hector Hammond is a really good actor, and I think he did a great performance. It's just what they got him to do wasn't great. His performance was creepy as shit. So I quite liked him. So that was the fun I had with the movie. So I didn't want to. I didn't think it was awful like some people do. And then let's kick some ice. You know, Batman and Robin. It's the definitive bad movie, right? Of all bad movies when it comes to comic book movies. There may be ones as bad as it, but none are worse.
Yeah, I'm hard. I'm sure that there are worse movies because that X-Men, that Wolverine Origins movie was rough, bro, and it thought it was serious. I think that's one of the things that will rank it below because it thought it was serious. Whereas Batman and Robin, they knew they were a joke. You know what I'm saying? They knew they went full chill.
We have to do worst comic book movies. Definitely, we have to do that shit.
There's so many though. And then there's the Elektra. Do you remember that? Do you even remember Elektra? I don't even know.
Daredevil as well, man. But Batman and Robin is probably the only movie of a comic book movie, especially with the Trinity. I mean, Batman's my boy. Yeah. So
it's quite.
I've never watched it again.
Oh, no, you haven't. I grew up on it. I've watched it so many times. I have it on DVD. I got all 4 of them somewhere on DVD. It's so funny, man. It's so fun. It's one of those you just, oh my God, how did I enjoy this? It's one of those.
Oh, you enjoyed it as a kid?
Absolutely.
I didn't even enjoy it as a kid.
Absolutely. Well, you weren't a kid. You had back child support payments when it came out. That's not.
No, it was nothing like that. Like honestly, I could not stand that movie from the jump. I got Batman Forever. I bought the album, like the music. I bought I bought the video. I was down for that movie.
On the gray. Ooh, the more I get at you, the stranger it feels. Ooh, yeah.
Sing them tunes, Yellow. Sing them tunes. Man, that voice, I was loving it. Smooth as shit. But yeah, no, it was I could tell even then that it was markedly less. I didn't like the tone as much as the first two movies.
It completely changed the tone. It completely changed the tone. It was less to Schumacher.
Yeah, it was less witty, less dark, less whatever. And I liked about the first two, but I still fucked with it. I don't know. I just liked Batman enough that I was a Batman fanboy, and I was just like, yeah, this is the greatest movie. Like, so for Batman and Robin to turn me like that it takes something special.
That's fine.
Really
I'm not. It's really Blackest Night, MCU, Snydery. Shazam is just weird, but like I'll accept. It was fun. I enjoyed it. For it to be second spot, that's a bit strong. But they can be a good people at the top. Like my God,
of course.
Disgusted.
This is where I fell in love with DC movies, man. You can't like that's my Chris Reeves is my boy. He's my boy. And I loved Brando as Kal-El. As Jor-El, pardon me. Anyway, let's get back into this topic.
Yeah.
Have you seen The Long Halloween yet?
No, I have not. Where is it? Do I have to purchase it, or is it on HBO?
Oh man, I'll send you in the private chat.
Shh.
Let me know.
I have not. But I'm really looking forward to it. You know, I just haven't seen it yet, and I haven't went looking for it yet.
The Last Stand, really? The Last Stand gets a bad rep a little bit, doesn't it? X-Men Last Stand, considering the first X-Men movie.
You can't consider the first X-Men movie. The third one is terrible.
But the first one was terrible as well.
The first one was not terrible. That's the.
Oh man, all right. Good.
It was not terrible. Is it the greatest thing ever? Absolutely not. But there's a lot of room between, everything the MCU does and like terrible. There's a lot of room between those things. So
X2 was the best, and there's one reason it's called Brian Cox. Brian Cox was the thing that for me that made that movie fucking excellent. You know Brian Cox, right?
I don't know.
Oh, he's a Scottish actor, but he's the guy who played Stryker. Basically, he just fucking killed it for me, man. He was like one of the better villains of that X-Men series, along with Magneto, obviously.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Sorry, yeah. No, I'm very familiar with his work. I did not know his name.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get back to this. So you haven't seen The Long Halloween. I've just given my opinions. Yeah. I don't know if you saw it. I have you been watching these Archer? I call it the Archerverse movies, the latest series, because they look like Archer. They're doing
yeah, they do. Yeah, a little bit.
So I'm calling it the Archerverse, Phase 3, the Archerverse. Have you seen the rest of those? Right, like you've seen the rest of those ones. Good.
All of them, and I love them very much so.
All right, so
I run through them, so I don't have the encyclopedic knowledge of them as I have other movies because I haven't gone back to watch them all again yet because my memory is trash. But
yeah, me too.
But some more than others, obviously. Like I think with the things that you got here, Constantine City of Demons is a little boring, lackluster. I don't really count it as a real movie. It's like a long episode. You know what I'm saying? But with the rankings that you have here, for the most part, I'm in agreement. I think Under the Red Hood should be up higher. But
see, so I've got so far. What do you make of it?
They look, for the most part, they look good. Ignoring the terrible categories, S, A, B, C, D, F, sure, whatever, E, whatever the fuck, however it works. They look good to me. I think.
Under the Red Hood is the only one you.
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No, go on, go on,
The
go on.
Dark Knight Returns, the first Dark Knight Returns, I thought was amazing. The second one was significantly worse, and I think, and I think it's because they followed the comic a little too closely. I think I don't think the mutants.
Blew my mind.
Yeah, I don't. I think it belongs. I don't think it's terrible, but I think it belongs on the tier underneath it. I think the mutant storyline just doesn't translate as well animated. You know.
Oh, you're talking about the first one. You're talking about the first
Oh, is that the first one?
Yeah, the second one is where he battles Joker and Superman. That's why you just blew my mind.
Okay, right? So then,
like
so then I got those mixed up. Then,
the mutants. I see what you're saying
because then Carrie Kelly like nurses him back to health, and then he goes off and gets the Green Arrow. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Forgive me, got my things mixed up there. But yes, no, the first one was not as good as the second one, and I think it belongs on a tier lower. But All Star Superman was amazing. Batman Year One was amazing. They all look good.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, cool. Let's go to the next one. I agree with most of what you said there. It's just that I really I can see them as a continuation, a complete story in a way. Yeah. So I forgive it. If it was just a solo movie and nothing came out after that, I would be completely on your side with that one. So let's go to Batman Hush.
The Riddler thing really blew me. The Riddler thing really blew me. It really blew me. I was just like, oh man, it was good. It wasn't the best thing, but it was good up until it was the Riddler. And I was like, I get it. I see what you were doing. But it really, like, the Riddler is his own thing. Just let him be his own thing. There's an incredible story in the new, I think it was New 52, or it was coming out around the same time as New 52. With the Riddler, and I was just like, boom, there he is. That's the story you could have done instead of making Hush the Riddler. But it's hard because you got to introduce what's his goddamn name? Tommy. What's his name? I can't remember his name. But you got to introduce the Bruce Wayne's friend from a kid.
The doctor guy, the best friend. Yeah.
Yeah, Tom. I think it's Tom. Yeah, and I get that it's difficult.
It's definitely Thomas. It's Thomas something.
Yeah.
It's Thomas something.
But I don't know, but it was good.
Carry on.
It was good up until the reveal. It was really good up until the reveal. So
carry on. Well, basically, I agree with a lot of what you're saying there, but I found it was good up until the reveal. That's exactly what I was going to get at. I think people are a little bit too harsh on the movie. Because at first it threw me with that reveal of it being the Riddler, and I really didn't like they started talking about the Riddler as if he's a C-list villain, like talking about him like he was trash, and I was like,
right, that's another thing too, yeah. But that was also to downplay. That was to put him over at the end. He really is amazing, so it wasn't like,
no, but he's only amazing because he went in that pool, in the resurrection pool or whatever.
The Lazarus pit. Yeah,
Lazarus pit. There we go. Yeah. So I don't, in some ways, I just think the reveal didn't work too much. But
it really ruined it. It's like an M. Night Shyamalan film. It really ruined. Like the twist really ruined it. It's just like, oh my god.
But having said that, when I watched the film again recently and on rewatch it's better. It's actually a little bit better than you remember it.
It could be.
It has some fun. Nonetheless, it's still, to me,
Thomas Elliott.
Yeah.
If you're first of all, you have to change the MCU designation, or I'm walking out of here, or I'm doing a sit-in. I'm gonna sit here and take an oath of silence. But it is definitely not Snydery.
You could consider that DCEU if it makes you happier.
It's disgusting.
You can make that DCEU if you think
I'm disgusted.
If that helps you. Snyder, I think it's the definition of Snydery, actually, when I think about it. Because it's divisive, right? As a movie. 2
out of 8 movies are good. I don't know how that's even in the middle, but whatever, that's fine. You can do what you want, I guess.
Man, he has to come and shit on my fucking cornflakes today, doesn't he? That's what you do, Yellow. That's what you do. It's my fucking ranking.
Sure, it is. It certainly is.
Snydery means divisive, okay? The movies are divisive. They have big fan. Like, come on, he's got a huge fan base. He got guys to fly planes across bloody the yard of Warner Brothers. Like, these guys are crazy fans of his. So he obviously he has this huge following who always love his movies, and there's a huge amount of people who aren't just indifferent, they fucking hate his movies. And that's what I mean by divisive. And I think this one is the very definition. You either go along with the twist here, or you absolutely loathe it because you're a stickler for the source material. So that's why I would say, because Hush, there's entertainment to be found. And to be fair to Zack Snyder as well, I don't think there's any of his movies where there isn't entertainment to be found. Like Batman v Superman, much as you might dislike it, still got Batman, and Batman was pretty cool for the most part in it. So, I would put it there. Where would you put it, just out of curiosity?
I would put it under DCEU. I would put it under DCEU because it's a really strong film.
You put it
DCEU, DCEU, yeah. I would put it. I'm gonna attack you, bro. Don't do that to me. I'll put it right there under BVS. Is where I would put it right there. BVS, Blackest Night.
I think for me, it's definitely better than the Batman anthology.
Oh
movie.
Shit!
So I'm gonna put it like just behind Soul of the Dragon. You saw Soul of the Dragon, right?
Yeah. I didn't really like Soul of the Dragon that much. I thought the choreography was great. I thought, I don't know. It was just it's like so much Bruce Lee, and I was like, I know, I get it. I don't know. It just didn't really connect with me. But we may. I don't. How do you feel about taking a break from this here? I don't want to derail your show, but
no, go on. What did you want to?
Hold on, let me see. I might not have accurate information. Sorry, I might have said something too soon. Oh yeah, no, it doesn't look like it. All right, never mind. Sorry, continue.
What was something
dropped that didn't drop yet. I thought something came out that didn't come out yet, and I don't know if I want to really.
No, tell me what is it?
Fuck it, I'll say it. There is a well, hold on, because I don't know what's the rules as far as. Let me see something real quick. Hold on. Oh.
Nerdman, what does he say? Nerdman, I'm happy to agree with you as long as you don't bring Jesse Eisenberg's Luther. Okay.
But yeah, no, I'll private chat it to you. I don't know how, you know what I'm saying? I just don't want to say anything if it's not accurate. You feel what I'm saying? I don't want to be on record saying anything that's not too accurate. It's something that's not subjective, of course.
Okay, all right. I see what you're saying. All right. I'd definitely take a break for that. Anyway, so let's back to the ring. Pickle Man. Let me do this quickly. Talk about what's the next one in the list? You see it?
Is that Gotham by Gaslight? Gaslight by Gotham by Gaslight? Yeah. I don't even remember that movie, unfortunately. You're gonna have to give me a rundown on what.
So that's the one where he's like, I think it's like 19th century.
It's like a Sherlock Holmes noir type
retelling of the Batman, where he's facing off against Jack the Ripper, essentially.
Right.
So Jack the Ripper's come to Gotham. This is another one with a twist ending. I read the comic book of this recently, and I forgot the ending of it. For some reason, I don't know why, but I've forgotten the ending.
Probably
of it right
because
now.
It wasn't memorable. Because I don't remember the movie. So
Yeah, the source material, is good, but it's not, you know, uh it's not one of the greatest Batman stories of all time or something like that.
Right.
But the source material, it's just a kind of cool concept, like having Batman take on,
Yeah.
the Jack the Ripper, and I think that's probably what prompted them to make this film.
Yeah.
But again, with the source material, there's very little to kind of unpack. So in a way, they did a really good job given the source material. I did not like the twist. I don't know if you remember the twist to this. Guys, this is going to be full spoilers for all of these. So if you don't want to hear the twist for Gotham by Gaslight, yeah, turn off now. Gotham by Gaslight is the kind of Batman story I love. It's something different, and I love the classic Batman design. Yeah, I really liked all of those aspects of it. The problem I had with it was even though it improved upon the source material.
Right. I remember now. Yeah. Go ahead. I'll let you go ahead.
No, I was going to say, even though it improved upon the source material, I think they really should have gone further into this concept. This is a really intriguing concept. This could have been a really dark, thrilling, like one of the classic movies of the DCAU. But it's one of those things
where you're like, this archetypically good character, you're just going to turn bad for the shock value. And I really like, it's not even like, I like when people take stories, take source material, take stories, or take history and tradition and change it and tell an interesting story. For whatever reason, this twist just didn't work for me. I was like, I get it, I understand, but I'm like, but go ahead, keep with you. I don't want to say it before you say it. So.
Oh no! In the movie, Jim Gordon turns out to be he turns out to be Jack the Ripper, which is weird because what would Jim Gordon have been doing in England? At that time as well. Surely he'd been on the police force for a while. I'm like you, man. I love twists on characters, but I always find it much more. I always find it much more interesting when the characters kind of remain themselves, but in a different, altered way because of the timeline that they're in. And
right, because then you got to pay more attention to the nuance of the character as opposed to having a complete about face, because then there's a lot less nuance. Yeah. But
there's certain characters you cannot make turn into suddenly because of it's a new timeline they can be the bad guy. You can't do it with Park Kent. You can't do it with Alfred. You can't. There's certain characters that are just it just doesn't work. It just leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Turning them, and what they maybe needed to do was give this a bit of a longer runtime. That's one of the drawbacks and one of the main criticisms of these films. Give these films a bit of longer, a longer runtime, and then you could have added some more characters in the Batman mythos that you could have meaningfully changed into Jack the Ripper. Do you know what I mean? Someone that wasn't obvious, but at the same time, that could have, could have worked as that. But the person they chose, definitely not. But for the steampunk stuff, for the, Bat bike, for the, the take on the Robins and how he finds the Robins and Catwoman and all of that kind of stuff, I really, really enjoyed about the movie. It's just, it could have been a little bit more sophisticated.
I agree with Pickle about the character design of Batman. Fucking amazing. Super dope. Just super cool. The trench coat thing. I just really loved all of that. Visually, I think it was really a really stunning film. I think that just they really took us to that time period. But ultimately, another one with a twist just kind of took me out of the movie, and it was a little bit forgettable. Maybe I wasn't paying attention at the time. I just completely forgot about the main twist thing, and then remembering it, I was like, maybe I tried to push it out of my mind. Who knows?
You're right. It is kind of forgettable. And here's the thing: this is what happened in I'd say the phase 2 of the DCAU was a decline. both in their adaptations, and in their connected universe.
I don't know.
Right?
I don't know if I would agree. I don't know if that it was so much a well, yeah, I guess it looked like so in the what you're calling phase 2. I assume is after the bulk of the Justice League movies that they made, and then they started venturing off to tell other stories. I'm okay with that. Like I think you should do that, but yeah, I don't know. It's hard not to call it a decline. It's hard not to because a lot of those films that came out during that time, they just didn't really hit like the first 10 years they just really did.
The first 10 years were we're going to get into some of those movies, but like this is one of the things I wanted to talk about in this particular stream, was these phases and what they achieved. I just think that the second phase was so bogged down in like the connected universe thing.
But I don't know if that's true.
And bogged down also in adapting New 52 stuff. That was kind of a problem for it in some ways. But then when it also seemed to be a decline when they decided to just take like a comic, adapt a particular graphic novel like they were doing in the first phase. They didn't do that as well either. It wasn't a complete, like, I still find the movies entertaining, but in general, I think the quality just dipped from fantastic to, these are good. These are good.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree. Although we still did have amazing, so you said like, when you say adapted a New 52, all of those, Son of Batman, Batman, Robin, all of those movies were incredible.
Wow. Okay, we're gonna get into a bit of a.
All of those movies were incredible.
Debate,
all of them. They were super fun. The animation was beautiful. The voice acting was great. I mean, like the stories, the way that now they changed some things is fine. Whatever. But the stories were great.
We're gonna talk about these. Let's get on to it.
Sure. And they were all right there in that second phase, so it's hard for me to think like. The connected universe stuff I think was great. A lot of the New 52 stuff was great.
Okay,
all right. I disagree with you there.
Let's get on to it because a lot of those movies are going to come out next. I know. But do we agree? I know. Start the fire. The fire is rising.
You definitely need to put Gotham by Gaslight lower. You're out of control.
Well, then if the Gotham by Gaslight's low, then Hush has to be lower, and so does the anthology.
I agree.
Batman.
I started with that. I don't know about that. Is that Gotham Knight?
Yeah. It has some good ones, but it has some bad ones. Right? It like some of them were really good, but some of them were really bad. I put it in Snydery just because of that twist. I think the twist doesn't help, and then it's not. So given the concept, they could have really gone into that harder with making.
I think it's so niche that it has to be. It's so niche, and then for it to not even hit the mark in its niche direction, it has to be lower. It just has to be because it's so niche. All you had to do was just. Fix the one weird thing.
You've convinced me to put it in MCU. You're right. It's about as good as MCU movies.
BVS is what we're calling that tier from henceforth. Calling it BVS.
And
now, see, again, Gotham Knight, I disagree. I don't know if Gotham Knight should really be down there too. I mean, because it's 4 stories in Gotham Knight, right?
Yeah, but it really is not like altogether. It's not that great.
Yeah. I guess.
You've convinced me though, but I definitely think I would rather go back to Batman, Gotham by Gaslight over the Long Halloween. So the Long Halloween is represented by Constantine. So yeah, all right. So here we go. The first one we're gonna probably have some issues with is Batman. What is it called? I can't even. Bad Blood.
No, Bad Blood. Bad Blood was arguably the word. Not arguably was definitely the worst of the Batman and Robin, like the whole Damian Wayne movies, but it's still great. It's still great. And what did you just do? What is that? You're out of control. You are disrespect. I can't.
Oh right, no, I haven't ranked it yet. Don't worry, I haven't ranked it yet.
Yeah. So what is that then? Is that subliminal? You're trying to convince the people to like side with you by throwing it in there just because it's easier to access. Ignore its placement, guys. It's just easier to access from here.
Not at all, man. I was just listening to you. I'm gonna tell you my opinion of it after. So
Batwoman was incredible, man. I think all of the animation in that film was great. All of the different iterations of people who were inspired by Batman or influenced by Batman, like all of that stuff was super cool. The problem really is the villain. As much fun as it is, it just gets weird at the end, and it's the exact same way in the comic books. So sure, whatever. I think, guys, you needed to fix it, but and even then, because when the villain is what was his name, Marauder or something like that, I forgot what they called him. But when the villain was beating the whole Bat family up, I was like, really, like, yes, please continue. Yes, I love this. Yes, I just don't see how. I just thought it was great, man. I just thought it was great. Now it's not as good. I would put it probably. I see. Here's the thing. Now I think we're gonna have to move Hush again because it's better. I'd probably put it next to Soul of the Dragon. I'd probably put it up Snydery.
Dude, I'm gonna have to just veto your fucking thing here. Batman Bad Blood is DC animated universe doing its Batman fanboyism at its worst. Everything about Batman is supposedly interesting, and the truth is, it isn't. It is unmemorable. It's unmemorable. You're talking about them doing fucking Batwoman justice? No fucking way. Batwoman should have had her own fucking movie, first of all.
Sure, she's absolutely. That good. But that's not.
She's that good, and she's the least Batman-like. She's the least Batman-like out of the Batman.
Agree. She should have had her own movie, and she's the most different from Batman. I agree.
Yeah. So I don't know where you're getting this from. That Batman Bad Blood is like this decent. It's not. It's just not. It's okay.
Sure.
And I would say Hush. Just in virtue of it following some of the comic, which is actually a good comic.
Incredible. Guys, go read Hush now.
Makes it better than Bad Blood for me. I really do. And definitely Batman Gotham by Gaslight again. So, it's my list. I'm vetoing you.
Yeah, it's the twist. For the most of Hush is a better movie than Bad Blood. It's just that twist really ruins it. Whereas it's not really a twist. I mean, it's kind of a twist, I mean, they're all twists at the end, but it's a surprise. But it's not like a departure from the story, that they seem to be telling in the movie. Not so much the source material. I don't really care about that, but like the story that they seem to be telling in the movie, it's not so much of a departure at the end. It's just a little weird. Whereas the Hush, it being the Riddler, really threw me. I was like, all right. I guess.
Yeah. No, I get it, man. I get it, and I'm giving you a hard time because I'm still gonna put it in MCU. It's still, it's just they're still fun. Like these fucking movies in general are still, like they're decent. Like even like the ones that again, the impulse of doing yet another Batman story doesn't help.
Yeah.
But definitely I still had fun with the movie in the end. It's not very memorable to me though. Like
no, not at all.
So that's where it loses points.
So the plot isn't very memorable, but those action sequences are incredible. When the introduction of Batwoman, they start the movie off with her like chasing some bad guys, in like Brazil or something or somewhere, and she's just shooting her. It was just.
You made that shot, bro. You watched a different movie. I swear you're confusing that shit with something else, man.
Maybe.
She weren't in Brazil. She was in Gotham, wasn't she?
Right. Sure. She might have been in Gotham. I might, because in the comics she was in Brazil when we first met her, so I might have mixed up the setting. But she was in Gotham chasing somebody and shooting at him, and I thought that was incredible. And then Batman was like, "We don't do it like that," and he was like, psh, 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 and she was like, psh, 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 "I do." That shit was great. I loved everything. Like, it was just, and then he's gone for a while, and she has to like get the family together and figure out. Like, I don't know. I enjoyed.
But it wasn't
a
good characterization of her. I really didn't enjoy the guy. Like, she's a cool character in the comics, man. Like, really cool.
Yeah.
So underrated Batwoman.
But there's also not a lot of her.
She's the only one of the Bat family I can even tolerate outside of
but that's just you hating.
Outside of Dark Knight Returns, Carrie Kelly.
Listen, I love Carrie Kelly too. Yes, I love Carrie Kelly too. I think she's great, but you're hating because all of the Robins are great. Batwoman, Batgirl is incredible. Damian will whoop your ass.
Dick sucks.
You disgust me.
Dick Grayson. I'm sorry, man. What is that? Really? He's a clown. Like, he was a clown at a clown show, like the Flying Graysons, and then his family are killed like while doing it is such bullshit.
It was fucking 1930, bro. Like, what are you talking about?
It's such 30s fucking tropey, like pulpy nonsense. Like, it does not translate to like modern shit. Like, it just doesn't. Like, to me, Robin, it's so hard to do well. And Carrie Kelly, I always forget her name, but Carrie Kelly from Dark Knight Returns is the only one who does it right.
It's not a good name.
That was the first time I was like, oh, this is a realistic relationship. He realizes this girl's a teenager, but he's insane himself, first of all. So that explains why, like, he would have like this young person, like, tagging along with him. But he's also like, tells her like straight up, you go away from my orders, or you stray away from my orders, even by a minuscule amount, you're fired. Like, I love that relationship, and that makes sense. And she's just a cool, fun character who does lighten up what's otherwise a dark affair. So she's good. And Batwoman is just her own character. She should have been called like Shadow Woman or something, and just had her own city and like been her own character, because she's just different.
No one would have read the story if she wasn't related to Batman in some way. True. No one would have. It would have gone completely, and that's, I don't know, whatever. We'll see what happens. I'm not arguing about every single.
Dude,
he has a point. Wonder Woman is a ridiculous concept too.
Well. But no, Wonder Woman. How's Wonder Woman is a universal fucking story. I'm not gonna let Pickle trigger me like this. He knows exactly what he's doing. All comic characters are pulpy and weird, but that's specifically pulpy and weird. How are you going to translate a guy who works in a circus, like, and his origin stems from that, like, universally across all ages? It just doesn't work. Like, that's such a thing of its time. Plus, as a character, he was put in the comics for cynical reasons in the first place. It was like, oh, we need somebody young for the audience to identify with. I identify with Batman, motherfucker. I've identified with Batman since I was like fucking 7 years old. I didn't need any fucking weird, like, teenager wearing short pants to like to get me interested in the Batman mythos. Sorry, anyway.
That was long before you. All right, they introduced Robin way before you were a thing, bro. Batman was already super cool. Batman was not as cool as we know. He just wasn't as cool when he first started. Everybody loved him, but he just wasn't as cool. Now he's super cool, and then they also had a Robin with him. I just disagree with all that nonsense. But it's just,
you would have wanted Robin in the Dark Knight series.
Oh, Dick Grayson is terrible because his family was at a circus. People's families are in the circus today. That's a thing that happens. It's quite Cirque du Soleil would be what they are, who the Graysons would be today. That's what they would be.
You are so fucking, I don't want to use the word pickle, but you're so like off the mark, right? Dude, again, you're trying to like trigger me. Mythology is cool now. People still like fucking ancient Greek mythology. They like fucking Ares and gods and fucking Zeus and all of that shit till today. It's a thing that translates till now. The fact that she fights those kind of things is precisely why I would say she's relevant till today. Right? She's fighting Medusa. She's fighting fucking Ares, the god of war. She's like steeped in Greek mythology, which is cool.
Yeah, being but then there's the whole idea of an island full of only women and they're all strong and they like that's a very interesting concept to continue to perpetuate.
The Amazons from ancient Greece. Yes, the Amazons.
Right, you're saying that like it was a real thing.
Like, no, I'm not saying like it's a real thing.
Like it's just saying it like, dude, yes, the Amazons from ancient Greece, because ancient Greece hasn't perverted any kind of concept ever, right? They just haven't destroyed anything ever. So they're the greatest. Never mind, because now I'm going into my bias against the whole Grecian lie that they've been telling since the beginning of Western civilization. So
it's interesting that you talk about this, right? Because I'm not trying to, call like, oh, I've got, special knowledge that you don't. But like in this particular situation, I think that I know a bit about like the creation of Wonder Woman, what the creator was getting at, why he did certain things. And you're absolutely right. The ancient Greek, like the Amazons were used as social propaganda to show why women shouldn't have their own society, why like patriarchal society is right, essentially. They made them into these fearsome, masculine, kind of almost monstrous entities that men should fear, right?
Man haters.
That was specifically why William Moulton Marston turned that on its head and said, no, the Amazons were real.
With only one person.
They were not what the Greeks were using as propaganda to make the men fear like powerful women. In fact, they were beautiful. They were they were these kind of intelligent, sophisticated. They in the comics at least, they create their own technology and a utopian society essentially. So he was showing that this is why women actually should or ought to possibly rule the world, right? Because if they did, if it was a matriarchal society, obviously this is kind of like patently false. But if it was a matriarchal society, according to William Moulton Marston, it would be like this utopian kind of thing, like you see in how the Amazons live amongst each other. So that was the whole thing. He was reversing what the ancient Greeks did. Anyway, we're going.
But he didn't reverse it though, because they were all still man haters. He didn't really reverse.
Oh, but they were man haters.
He just made them sexier.
They were man haters for a specific reason, but that is something for.
It doesn't matter, does it? You think that matters really? You think that really matters?
Oh yeah, it. Dude, why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me?
Never mind. No, never mind. It does matter. You're right. Sorry. Let's move on. What's the next movie? What? What movie were we talking about?
I'm going to set this straight, and then we're going on to the next one. The Amazons hated men specifically because of what they did with the, according to ancient myth, with Hercules stealing the golden girdle. But they expand upon that in the Wonder Woman comics, so that Hercules in the ancient Greek mythology is seen as the hero in this situation. In the in Wonder Woman comics, he's seen as the villain. He's actually kidnaps Hippolyta. It's suggested he raped her essentially, and the Amazons have to come and liberate her from the Greeks capturing them, like with Hercules as leader. So that's essentially the story of why they come to hate mankind, right? They hate them because when they were in man's world, they were enslaved, they were brutalized, all of this kind of stuff. So anyway,
they hate mankind because a god kidnapped and raped their god. That makes sense.
It's not a god, it was Queen Hippolyta. She was just the
whatever.
Leader. Anyway, forget about it. All right,
who cares?
Yeah, who cares? Exactly. So Batman the Killing Joke.
Oh man. You know what? I'm gonna say it, man. All right.
It's not that bad.
You chop 20 minutes off of that movie, and it's fucking perfect.
Yep. It's exactly what the comic is. And you know what I have to say to that? I think you're right, and I think the comic is overrated as well. That's my personal opinion. I don't think they should have made it into.
That's crazy.
I don't think they should have made it into a movie. I don't think that comic is half as good as people try and make out all the time. It's a very short comic. It is fun.
It's right fun. To the point.
If Alan Moore didn't write that, it wouldn't have been a classic. Would not have been a classic. If Alan Moore of Watchmen, of all the comics that he did later, V for Vendetta, all of that stuff, if he had not written that specific short, very, very short story book about the Killing Joke, I don't think that would be a modern day classic. That's my opinion.
So did Batman kill Joker at the end or no?
Of what?
At the end of the movie and comic book, did Batman kill him at the end?
Of the comic book, of this comic book, The Killing Joke. No,
The Killing Joke. Yes, that's what we're talking about. Yes.
No, he didn't kill him.
Did he? You're confident about that because there's like a lot of people who say that yes, he did.
You mean that whole laughing scene at the end?
Yes, that whole thing.
Why?
Where Batman tells Joker a joke.
Right. No, no, Joker tells Batman a joke and then he laughs.
Right. Sorry, forgive me. Yeah. You're right. But then Batman laughs, really laughs, bellows.
Yeah, exactly. He guffaws.
Right, pretty much. I think you're absolutely wrong. I think, aside from the comic, I think, quickly, as an aside to the comic, it is not overrated at all, especially when you consider the time when it came out. You're absolutely wrong about that. That's ridiculous. I can't believe you would say that. Whatever, that's fine. Moving forward, talking about the movie, the fact that they did that so well, everything after the first 20 minutes, because the first 20 minutes, snip, go. Like, I understand you want to make Barbara more. You don't want to Sue Dibney her or whatever the girl's. Right. Is it Sue? Was it Sue? You don't want to fridge her. I get it. No, it was Elongated Man's girlfriend. What was her name?
Look, having Batman bone fucking Batgirl is kind of creepy.
Hold on. See, now you're jumping ahead.
All right.
The point is, you wanted to give Barbara more characterization than just having her be a victim. I get that. You fucked that up. Exactly to your point. You gave her a budget. You gave her an off-brand Dollar Tree Joker, and then I don't know what that was about. And then you had Bruce Wayne. How old was she? Like, how old was she? Do we get confirmation?
It doesn't matter how old she was. She could have been
25
or whatever.
She was probably 18, right? Hopefully.
She was between 18 and like 25, I imagine. 24, 23, right. Maybe, But it's just, again, it was so off-putting, that beginning. And then I really think you're right. It captured the spirit. Once it got into the comic, it captured the spirit of the comic exactly correctly. And to me, the comic ain't that good. That's the problem.
You are out of your mind.
It's Batman fanboyism at its best. If you go through the DC
you can't
catalog,
just keep saying that like it means something. Those words don't mean anything.
If you go through the DC catalog of comics and graphic novels,
it doesn't matter how reasonable you sound when you say crazy things. They're still crazy things.
They're not crazy. If you listen to what I'm saying, then maybe you'll get on board with what I'm saying. Well, you probably won't get on board, but at least you'll understand my perspective, which is that there are many, many graphic novels like in the DC library from all characters, from Question to Wonder Woman to Shazam to, all of these great characters that they have that are not as celebrated as just minor, and Batman does have the best graphic novels. Don't get me wrong on that. Like the absolute best of DC's library are Batman graphic novels. That being said, anything that's even just like minorly interesting or something happens from it, and this is a good thing about Batman writers. They keep to it and they cherish all of it and they keep it in the storyline and keep, coming back to it. So they keep, Barbara Gordon being shot and becoming a paraplegic is something that they continued, rather than in like Superman or Wonder Woman. If something happened like 10 years ago and, and it was in a great comic, they don't give a shit about that stuff. But Batman, they always build and build upon his mythos so that everything becomes iconic, right? But as a story in and of itself, right, although it's important to the Batman mythos, again, it's an okay story. It's like A to B to C story. It's like there's nothing, majorly exciting happens in it. And yes, it's a great depiction of the Joker as well. I do like.
So you're saying that because The Killing Joke was so rife with like, it was so rife with content to mine to continue in further stories and build and create even greater stories and create greater characterizations. That makes it bad. That's what you're saying.
That's what you're saying. No, that's not.
I'm just trying to understand, because what you're saying is that they took this piece. You're saying that they took this garbage comic. Hold on. You talked for a long time, right? Okay, you're saying that they took this garbage comic and just kept pulling from it and finding great ways to tell new stories because of the events of it. Like, it wasn't canon when it started. They just decided that, oh, this is great and we should make it canon. And then because it was so great and it was able to become canon and then be the impetus for all kinds of great stories to come after it, that makes it bad. I don't understand. Like, what was the whole?
No. Here's again, I like the fact that they've done that, but this comic didn't necessarily warrant that. You didn't need to make Barbara Gordon a paraplegic after. Okay, it turned out good, but like this could have just been a one-off comic with her becoming a paraplegic, and you could have.
Well, I mean, she'd not. We don't know.
Wait. You said let me talk.
I'm just trying.
The idea of Joker saying, "Oh, I prefer my origin to be multiple choice." Again, that could have just been a one-off thing that Joker said in this comic. Now, my point is here that if you look at other characters, you've had comparable comics that have come out or runs that have come out about them, where like Lex Luthor would have said something really interesting about like his relationship to Batman, or how he,
there's no relationship.
Sorry, not Batman. Pardon me, Superman. Or his, villainous identity. He said things that have been on that level, or Ares has had great speeches in like a Wonder Woman graphic novel, but people don't go back to it. They don't go and reread these. Batman,
because they're not as engaging, maybe?
They are as engaging. People don't read them because people don't read them because DC don't promote them in the way that they promote Batman. Batman is promoted in movies. He's promoted in animated shows. Right. He's always a presence, and all
Batman
of these comics are
kind of. So it's not just about promotion. He's also a big draw. That's why they get the promotion that he gets.
There's a bit to that, and I agree. I mean, he's one of my favorite.
Not a bit. It's all of it.
No, he's my favorite. Like, he's one of my favorite DC characters. Like, he's top 3. So I obviously he's a drawer. Obviously he's endlessly fascinating to me, but that doesn't mean everything everyone's done with him is endlessly fascinating. I just think
absolutely not. But this one is, though.
There's some things that it's just like, dude, I don't need for Damian Wayne, for instance, to continue, like, just because he appeared in a comic, we don't need to endlessly explore Damian Wayne as if just because he's part of the Batman family, he's fascinating. There's just things like about these Batman characters. The concept of
Damian Wayne is fascinating.
All right. Look, I mean, I don't want to go, like, obviously you just, like, there's things where it's just like, I guess it's subjective, right? But
of course it is, but then you try to turn your subjective opinion into this drawn out analysis of how everything that the corporation does around Batman is wrong, even though I love it all. That's just a weird, I don't even understand what you're saying.
No, they will take, for God's sake, hipster, they will take, this is yellow, is fine. You're twisting up my words and twisting up what I'm saying, but it's fine. I love you for it. All right, here's the thing. Right? I think it is a good thing the respect that they give Batman's, what legacy of that come from the comics, that come from the animated series, like making Harley Quinn into a bigger character, even making Damian Wayne into a bigger character, because I might not like him, but some people will, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that they take these characters and keep building and building and building the Batman universe is something that I think is a good thing. I just wish they'd do that for other characters. Can I tell you? Let me ask you something.
Sure.
Let me ask you something. What is Wonder Woman's city?
Themyscira?
City on Earth, like the city she operates out of as a superhero.
Oh, I have no idea.
You have no idea. Do you know why that is?
Washington, D.C., maybe?
It's Washington, D.C., kind of.
I did know.
It's kind of Washington. It's kind of Washington, D.C., but it's also many other different, like they've had her in Paris, they've had her in all sorts of places, right? Because
that makes sense, though, right?
No, it does not make sense. It does not make sense.
Well, she's
not good for the character. It's good.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's good when you build up. Stop trying to, again, it's like a thing of, to me, as somebody who thinks about writing these characters, like, I never want to subtract from someone's mythology. I always want to build it up. Like whatever's there that works, build it up. We don't even know what job she has as a civilian. She's been working in a museum. She's been like an ambassador, which I think really fits her. She's been like a secret agent for some stupid reason. She's been an army nurse
for a long time, right? So it makes sense that she would have done a bunch of different things, especially to hide her identity.
This is her being, like from reboots or from different runs of her story. It's not like her like in one continuous line changing job. She even worked in a boutique at one point. But my point is that, again, it's because the different writers don't respect the legacy of these characters, and therefore you don't build something up that is as rich as a Gotham City, that has the history and legacy that you can keep coming back to. So again, I love the fact that they take the Batman universe so seriously. I just wish they do it with other characters, is all I'm saying.
So you're saying that Wonder Woman doesn't have a legacy?
She's got a great, rich history, but it's very disjointed in comparison. So there is no real legacy to build. So is Superman to a lesser extent. Definitely when you go to Flash and all of the Martian Manhunter, all of the rest of those characters, it's a very, very shaky thing, because if you had a comic,
Flash is shaky.
If you have it is, trust me. If you have a Flash comic that is even like, about as good as The Killing Joke, they just don't care about it. They're just like, that's in the past. Let's do something new with Flash, right? Let's do he's got Central City, he's got his rogues and stuff like that. I think Jeff Johns.
Yeah, but they do that with Batman too. They tell new stories with Batman too. Somebody comes back and says, "No, there's 3 Jokers now." So it's not like they're always.
I'm not even joking. I think The Killing Joke is one of the factors that made Batman so popular today. Sorry, that it's so good and it blew up Batman. I don't know what you're. It's not one of his best stories, dude. It's not even comparable to like Batman, like the ones we've just talked about,
like Hush,
Batman Hush, Batman Year One, Batman, the Dark Knight Returns.
I think Killing Joke is comparable to Year One, in a lot of ways. Mostly that the Killing Joke is a kind of one-off story that's easy to jump into. You figure out what everybody's is. The story is simple, but it's not bad because it's simple. And the idea that they explore in that you can just have one day, everybody just one bad day away from going nuts. Like that is a real thing that people constantly feel. I just think that it's a simple concept, but it's a very compelling and it's a very like ubiquitous concept. It's like everybody. You want to keep saying overrated? Here's your time. You 5 times Overrated.
Overrated is
I
very
disagree.
different. Overrated is very different from saying it's bad.
No, but it's saying that it's overrated is to delegitimize its like it's greatness.
Overrated.
I think.
Overrated. Okay.
Or not delegitimize, but discredit.
You think this comic is great, right? So would you agree then that any comic that is better than this than the Killing Joke, any comic book run or graphic novel that is better than the Killing Joke should be celebrated more than the Killing Joke? Would you agree with that at least?
I think no. I think that because I think so. Here's the thing. I'm going to explain it. When you're saying overrated, I don't think overrated is the right word. I think maybe what you're saying is that it's so accessible that so many people are familiar with it, so it gets a lot of love. Whereas some of the other stories, some of the better stories that you say, like Hush, is less accessible to a lot of people.
No. Forget about Hush. I'm not talking about Hush.
Any of the other great Batman stories.
Let me revise my question then a little bit. If it is as accessible and as great, if not better, than the Killing Joke, should it be as celebrated as the Killing Joke?
So I don't like the word should, but yeah, I would agree that if it's as accessible, because that's what really makes the Killing Joke so great, that it is so easily accessible. You take Batman, you take Joker, you take Gordon, you take Barbara, you tell the story that needs to be told, and it's like, I think because of its accessibility and its shortness, that also lends to it, right? Because it is a very short series that you kept, or a series, it's a very short story that you kept pointing out. Like it makes it easier for people to get into it, for entry level comic readers and all of this stuff, people who just watched movies, like it makes it easier, so that's why so many people talk about it. That doesn't make it any less good, and that doesn't make it overrated.
So maybe it's also accessible because Batman is more well known, right? Like that makes it more accessible.
Of course,
Batman is, he's promoted, he's got his films, he's got, all of the stuff.
It's true.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do, because I can't continue this debate as such without you reading certain things, and then you can evaluate like by yourself if you've like, I'll give you maybe a list of things that I think are better comics than the Killing Joke, that are easily accessible. Anybody could read it. The only thing that maybe makes it less accessible, maybe the characters are not as popular as Batman,
or as compelling
in media. Compelling, no, because Batman. Look. I fucking love Batman. I do. Great, maybe. One of the greatest characters.
It must be hard for you, like, because you got to hate things that everybody else likes, and now you even have to hate things that you like. It must be very difficult.
Batman is one of the easiest comic characters to have adapted in like the 80s and do a really successful version of him, right? So it's lucky because he's a human. He's got his bat car, he does some martial arts, he's got some gadgets, right? So you compare that to like
he's something also crazy.
Like, you compare that to something like the Superman movies, which age badly because the CGI, the practical effects, everything wasn't there to meaningfully or believably make this guy have these kind of be using these superpowers to something like the modern age, right? Like when people in the 2000s, even up in the 90s, it's like it already was dated in terms of its practical CGI effects, right? Is that am I wrong?
No,
am I wrong in that?
Yeah,
whereas Batman,
it was dated, but
yeah, go on. Sorry,
I would say it was dated, but I also, looking back at 1989, like this shit is very dated too. So it's not like,
of course, but Batman doesn't have to do as much to be, like it's like it's kung fu, it's martial arts.
Batman got more movies because it's a more interesting character. Superman,
just let me finish my point. Let me finish my point. Let me finish my point. Let me finish my point.
It's just a bad premise, so
no, it's not a bad premise.
It's just hard to listen to a bad premise to get through to the point.
I don't think DC, and this has nothing to do with Batman, right? I don't think it was harder to bring out characters like Wonder Woman, characters like Shazam, even characters like Martian Manhunter back in the 80s. Plus, they didn't even believe in the characters in the first place. Like at DC, they think these are weird, wacky characters. Like it was like, I'm sure they were shocked when they brought out Shazam and Wonder Woman, and everyone was like, whoa, these are cool characters. Why haven't you done this film before? But again, it's kind of fortunate that they didn't bring them out in like the 80s or 70s, because they wouldn't have been able to do them justice. They had to bring them out now.
We would have had a bunch of
bad movies. My point is Batman being popular since like 80s with movies that, roughly speaking, don't age as badly as something like Superman, because, you know, again, he doesn't have superpowers.
Well,
he's had all this time to build and generate this legacy. Then you have the animated things. It's just been put in our heads over and over again. Batman's the king. Batman's the best.
But I disagree. Thing, I don't think that it's because because Superman has superpowers that he didn't have a lot of movies made.
Well, I look. Even if you don't want to talk about Superman, you could talk about Shazam, you could talk about Wonder Woman, you could talk about Flash, any of those characters. But I don't think it's because.
Go ahead.
Even if you might say that they didn't, you know, I don't know, like. Sorry, now I've lost my point because somebody just messaged me.
You were saying that the characters, these other characters, aren't as easy to make movies for.
Okay, so Superman, right? A lot of people think he's not cool, and that's why he doesn't.
That's why he didn't have a bunch of movies.
There's something unrelatable about him. Okay, but Flash is relatable. Shazam's relatable.
Not as relatable as Batman.
I don't know what you mean by relatable then. Flash
it's just or even compelling, or even just compelling.
His dad is in prison because, you know, he basically, his mother, you know, had been killed
because
people think that his dad did it, and you don't and he doesn't even know necessarily that his dad didn't do it.
Right.
This is a guy who's a normal. He's a normal guy. He's working a normal job. He's not like some super rich billionaire. He's really, you know, and then you've got these powers and what he can actually do with his powers, which is incredible. Like, you know, like time travel, multi-dimensional things, all of these things.
Those are really big. Those are really big concepts, though.
Makes him a really, really cool, compelling character. And I do think it's relatable if you're talking about somebody who comes from tragedy or born from something that is, you know, like a very human, down-to-earth problem that leads to him becoming the hero. I think that backstory of his is very, very compelling. So I don't know what makes Batman more relatable then, just because he's human, or just because Flash is also human.
There's definitely a part where it's just a man. The just a man thing is absolutely a big part of it, but it's also the darkness. It's also the just beating up people. Like it's all of these things. Barry Allen is he's much like Superman in their outlook on life. They're all very hopeful and happy, and like everything kind of tends to work itself out, you know.
So I'm just looking at this. Yeah, so I agree also that art is wonderful from the 80s. Nerdman, you're just clearly upset that Wonder. Oh, right, he's already said this. I'm not upset about that at all, and she is as compelling a character, so it doesn't really bother me. But anyway, yes. I mean, in the end, it's my theory. So it's a theory that, you know, I do think that Batman has just had like a little bit of an unfair advantage. You know, it's like being
People
ahead in the race.
For
it's
longer.
Like being it's not like a meritocratic kind of thing, right? We haven't even given Flash or Martian Manhunter the opportunity to be as popular as Batman. It just hasn't happened. They haven't had animated shows that people grew up with. They haven't had, you know, they like literally haven't had that. Like, so they, you know, they haven't had the kind of animated things that made Batman so iconic, which is why people argue now, oh, that isn't Batman. Batman doesn't kill. Batman should be more of a detective. You know, all of the things that make people feel like they have some kind of ownership over the Batman mythos, and
Sure.
doing different versions of the villains so that people get used to like different versions.
But you're ignoring
all
why.
of that hasn't happened. And
but you're ignoring why.
I think one is he's a great character, and then two, he also had since the 80s to be able to establish himself in the mainstream audience's mind, whereas the Flash.
But why though? But why? But you're ignoring why though. It's because he's more compelling. He was more. They had you forget that there was a whole 60s show about Batman that was a joke. And that people loved that show, and you're forgetting the 1950s Superman show that people love with George Reeves or whatever his name was. People love that, but people like Batman more.
By your argument, then Superman is a more compelling character. Sorry, Superman is more compelling than most superheroes as well, right? Because they love the
Based
Superman.
On what argument do you think that I'm making?
Because you said that why did they make a Batman film? Why did they do all of this? Well, they made Superman films. They made Superman TV shows. They continue to make Superman TV shows till today. They've made like 6 Superman TV shows, 8 movies.
People really like Superman.
Does that mean he's more compelling than all of the rest of the DC characters? Like he's more compelling than Flash. He's more compelling than Wonder Woman.
I think a lot of people would think so. Yes, I think that is because they keep optioning Batman and Superman shows how much people like them, but people like Batman more. That's just what it is. Like the 60s show was such a joke that then the comics. Then you had Frank.
You do not believe that. I know you don't.
No. I don't like Superman. I don't like Superman. I think he's corny.
Think he's relatable.
Superman 2 is the greatest Superman movie ever made. Arguably one of the best comic book movies ever made. I still hate Superman because I think he's corny. I think when they tried to kill him, I was like, oh, that's really cool. This is a cool concept. They had a whole bunch of other Supermen show up, and I was like, oh, maybe not so much. And then they brought Superman back to life. He was corny again. I don't like Superman, but a lot of people do. And I can't ignore that because I don't like him. That's crazy, right? I'm not going to do that. But the point is that, like, when you look at when Superman was super popular, you had the World War II, blah, blah, blah. And then he kind of took a dip, and then Batman blew up and has kind of been sustained. He had his little dips, but has sustained in popularity since.
Batman blew up because Batman blew up in 2 ways, right? There's 2 kind of periods, right? But people really forget how shaky ground Batman was before the Nolan movies. Batman was not like the.
So you mean in film?
He was not. No, in mainstream, popular imagination, right? Like the popular kind of view of these superheroes, right? Batman went from,
I don't know about that one.
Like the rest of the DC characters, if you want to chart them on a graph, Batman was still slightly above them. From the Nolan movies, he went into space. Yeah. Into space. Sure. Joker was the
but
coolest.
You're ignoring that Batman there was an animated series that people loved. Batman Beyond was an animated series that people loved. The Return of the Joker, the Justice League, and the Justice League Unlimited series. Those were all incredible. Batman had great storylines through there that a lot of people love. But there's never been a time where Batman was like not a fan favorite since the 66, since Batman 66.
Fan favorite, true. But there wasn't much competition during 66 for superheroes anyway.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
And certainly the 66
Wonder Woman had
Batman,
a show.
The 66 Batman did not make Batman more popular than Superman. Like, so let's just straight up, like, forget about that. Like, he was not.
No, we can't ignore it though. We can't ignore it. But it's because of the 66 joke Batman that we got the 80s dark, gritty Batman.
The best thing that it did was introduce the world to Batman's colorful collection of rogues. That was the best thing that 66 show did. Which Superman, the 60s and toy with George Reeves didn't do. Right, like it didn't introduce us to Brainiac, to Toyman, and to all of the different colorful, villains, Zod, all of that kind of stuff. So
not as many interesting rogues, but sure.
Yeah. So that was the best thing that Batman series did for him. And again,
but one of the
reasons for that is because you couldn't do Superman's classic best rogues on a show in the fucking 60s. You can't do Brainiac. You can't meaningfully do Brainiac in that kind of show. You can't do even someone like Toyman they would probably have trouble with, or I'm trying to think, like, Zod, all of those kind of guys. You'd have trouble doing that.
You could have done Zod. You could have done Metallo. You could have done Lex Luthor.
Metallo would have been hard. Parasite would have been a little bit difficult. So again, what I'm saying is kudos to the Batman show for making sure that they introduced all those villains, because Batman forever became tied to his villains, right? Like, that was one of the things that was like, oh, that's what's cool about Batman. He's got so many cool villains. And then
the reason why I brought up the 66 show was to point out that after Batman was a joke, they then came the 80s and they said, buck all that. Batman is gritty, dark, and it was amazing. And it's been really since then that it's been all rockets. Why is it that you had all of these? It really has. But why is it that you had all of these authors who were like, ooh, Batman is the guy that I'm going to use to tell my terribly dark story, my grim dark. Like, why is it that you had that? Because it's accessible to, he is rife for that kind of storytelling, and people love it.
You know what's funny about that? That's a very interesting point you just made, right? There are a lot of people who go and do these Batman stories, and they go into DC being like, oh, I'm a Batman fanboy, and I'm gonna like write my Batman, story or whatever, and they all turn out to be mediocre. And the people who do the best Batman stories, the people who all like down the line do the best Batman stories, like post, Frank Miller and, Danny O'Neill. The people who do the best Batman stories are always the people who love the whole of DC Universe, who write comic runs.
I can't. There's no way for me to measure that. But fine.
I can throw out some names. Jeff Johns,
sure.
Mark Waid.
Cool.
Like, they basically, because they have richer imaginations. They are people who do Batman's mythos better service because they understand the mythic element of all of these superheroes, and they could, including Batman. But anyway, this is an interesting debate. It really is an interesting debate, and it's something I didn't mean to get into, but like, I can see it from the perspective. I'd like to send you, I don't know if you've read them. I'm not going to presume you haven't read them, but I'd like to send you some comics, right? Or not send you like the actual comics, but send you the list of like names of comics. But and even if you read like 2 of them or 3 of them, and just to tell me, do you think they are, one, as accessible, because I believe they're as accessible as The Killing Joke, and then secondly, if they're better. And I really think they're better than The Killing Joke. And then say why then are DC not pushing and promoting those comics like they do Batman? And I think there's a very simple answer. They know a formula, just like Marvel, they hit upon a formula. And they were like, I'm going to fucking rinse that formula to the end of fucking time. Except the MCU doesn't do that, which is a good thing about MCU. They've learned to like evolve and adapt a little bit more. But so
DC, can we finally put the MCU over Snydery then?
The DC formula has been Batman, Superman. They sell, right? Let's not push, market, try and get talent to do great graphic novels of like all of our characters.
No, but they do. Hold on. See, it's a very extreme statement to say let's not do that. They do try. It just doesn't work.
They don't. They absolutely don't.
They did it with Green Lantern, and it worked for a long time. And then
with Green Lantern, because
they did it with the Flash, and it worked for a long time, and then it stopped working.
No, they didn't do it with the Flash. Jeff
Johns, Rebirth.
Jeff Johns came in again. That was Jeff Johns, by the way. Jeff Johns came in, one of the greatest comic book writers of all time, and they were like, "Oh, do Batman, man, do Batman," and he kept saying, "Nah, you know what?
Yeah,
I like these other characters. I
Sure.
like Flash. I grew up reading Flash. I wanna, flesh out Flash's mythos. That Jeff Johns was the one who actually came up with the story of his mother dying, Nora,
yes,
basically being killed. Jeff Johns did that. I thought that was a Flash. For a long time, I thought that was a Flash thing from way back in the day. I didn't realize Jeff Johns only came up with it in the 2000s. That's how long it took for them to actually write a Flash origin book. And the first actual dedicated Flash origin comic only came out last year. That's crazy. Think about how long the Flash has been around. A Flash graphic
I don't know what is
origin.
the difference between what Jeff Johns did and what came out last year. What do you mean by dedicated? What are you talking about?
So Jeff Johns' book had a tiny bit where it went over a new origin of Barry Allen. Right. It just kind of like, maybe it was a 2-page in a larger graphic novel, which was about other things, like Rebirth was like a larger story. A dedicated book just to Flash's origin story had not come out until last year, maybe 2 years ago. Right. And I got it immediately because I was like, oh shit, Flash year 1. They finally done a Flash origin story. That is true of a lot of their characters. They don't give a shit about anyone. They've done about 10, 20 Batman origin stories because they know it sells, but they haven't, they're like, because it's like a, what do you call it?
Self-perpetuating loop.
Self-perpetuating loop.
Yeah. Sure. I can definitely agree with you there. But you can't just pretend that people don't like these characters. Like, you can't say it like they're pushing it and it's their agenda and they don't want to. And it's people like this, so they keep making it. You know what I'm saying? And when they do take chances on stuff, it doesn't do very well.
I did that for you, brother. Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. Again, Batman is such a great character that it's hard to separate his success and then critique the company for continuing to perpetuate
for
that
not
success.
Giving other characters a chance. Is what you're saying. They're not giving other characters a chance.
Because to be honest, I think they did exactly the right thing with Batman. Like, that's what they should have done. My only problem is they should have been doing that with more than just Superman and Batman. And that's what they've been doing for a good, since the 30s, basically. Wonder Woman has got the shortest fucking, for being one of the DC Trinity. She's got like, the shortest end of the stick or whatever, like easily. Like, she should have had a movie. She should have had like an animated series. She should have had a bunch of shit by now. And she hasn't. And the fact that her movie blew up in the way it did, they should be really fucking ashamed, like, that they didn't, try and do something with this character a long time ago. And to be fair to Wonder Woman, they did more with Wonder Woman than they did with the rest of the characters up until Jeff Johns. So it's really been the Batman Superman show at DC for the longest time. And I'm glad that they're moving away from other things. And it's a critique I have of even these DC AU movies. But having said that, I do think the Killing Joke is a little bit of an overrated story, but it's entertaining. And so for that reason, I'm putting Snydery.
You disgust me. So switch MCU with Snydery. No, just switch those category names, and then
I'm going to tell you why. Again, it's divisive. It's divisive because of that beginning.
No. So the movie itself, I think should be down a tier because of the beginning. It really does kind of put a stink on the rest of the movie. But if you chop off those 20 minutes, then you have easily a Shazam. But you're a hater, so you want to put it Snydery.
A Shazam? No.
Yeah, if you chop off the 20 minutes, you absolutely have a Shazam. But the 20 minutes stinks. It mars the rest of the movie. Dude, it's hard to even
so much
because the whole time you're not like, oh, Batman isn't only chasing the Joker through this amusement park because he did something terrible to Barbara, who was somebody who he was raising to fight crime and adult, like someone who he cared about, but it's also because he wants to have sex with her again and he's mad. Like, that's a nasty, it taints the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it does. But I've got something. Let's forget. We'll chop that part of the movie off for you. Let's say we start it from the Killing Joke section of the movie.
Yeah.
You would put
Barbara
that
opens the door and gets
at
shot.
the same level as Batman Under the Red Hood or Arkham Assault on Arkham.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, because of the themes. Yeah, I love the Joker's origin being multiple choice. I love the whether we're not sure if Batman actually finally did kill the Joker at the end of the movie. I love the concept that somebody can have one bad day and go completely nuts. I've seen it. So it's such a raw
I like those
real
concepts, but I think they could be explored in more interesting
ways. And then the
ways. I really love those concepts.
Sure,
It's a short book. It wasn't meant to be. I don't even think went after what's the writer's name? Alan Moore. I don't even think after he wrote, he probably thought that it was that big a deal.
He trashes it today. He trashes it. Today he trashes it. He completely is like, I wish I never wrote it, blah, blah, blah. He trashes it. I don't care how he feels about it. I think he's stupid.
No, I know. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about at the time he wrote it. But, and don't get me wrong, I'm talking about, one, it was written by Alan Moore, which gives it like a little bit of its overrated status. And then secondly, it's Batman. Again, that helps as well. But there's other comics of Alan Moore that I think, after reading it, I'm like, for the man who has everything, right? That story where Superman is under the spell of the Red Mercy. Right. I'm just like, it's okay. If Alan Moore didn't write this would just be another, standard like Superman comic from that kind of era. It's not particularly more, insightful or in depth or more, than any other comic. This one is a good, solid comic. I enjoyed reading it, but dude, I would take fucking, I don't know if you've read this, but like, there's a comic called Joker by
Azzarello.
Yeah. That's a much better comic than The Killing Joke.
So I would agree with you, but it's a harder comic to get into too. It's not as accessible as The Killing Joke. One, because it's such a Joker story, and the Joker is my favorite fictional character. It's
pretty accessible, dude. I don't know what's inaccessible about Joker.
I don't know. It's not. It's because it's such a like, as dark as The Killing Joke is. It's not as dark as the Azzarello's Joker was. Like, Azzarello's Joker is just like dreary the whole time, whereas The Killing Joke is more, its darkness really comes more from the shock value of just like, oh, these are terrible things to happen to these people. Whereas like Azzarello's Joker is a lot like the Joker movie, not in story or way, but it's just like the kind of feel of it is like you're just watching somebody be crazy the whole time, and that's a hard thing to watch, I think, for a lot of people.
I thought it was excellently done. He did another one on Lex. He did a one on Lex Luthor.
I'm not saying it's bad in any way. I just think it's not as accessible as The Killing Joke is,
Yeah,
because it's not really good and bad in the Joker. It's just watching the Joker be nuts the whole time, which I loved, because again, the Joker is my favorite fictional character, but it's a little less. I think it's a little less accessible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's that less accessible, to be honest. I think it's one of those stories that it's basically. It introduces you to the character in a way that you don't really need to know too much about the history. You kind of get the idea of it anyway.
Yeah, that's true. You don't have to have the history. I agree.
Yeah, like of this specific Joker, it's not like it's constantly referencing stuff from old comics or anything like that. It's just a particular, straightforward Joker story, and he's doing fun, interesting stuff. It's got great dialogue. It's got a great take on the Joker. And it's exploring, the Joker through the eyes of a completely new character as well, which is
right.
It's kind of like the point of view character that you.
It's incredible, and I love it, and I think everyone should read it. I just don't think everyone can. Anyway,
I think anybody could. I think anyone could pick up that book. Okay, so Lee Benjamin's art really made it have that dreary tone as well.
Yeah,
he's one of my favorite artists. Okay, interesting. But anyway, I'm curious when we'll have this discussion when I send a couple of links to comics and see what you think in comparison with The Killing Joke. All right, so. That being said, Batman and Robin.
Oh man, I'm just looking at the Azzarello's. I gotta read this again. I'm just looking at it again, and it really is just gorgeous.
Have you read Luther?
No.
Have you read Man of Steel? Luther, dude, that one is fantastic.
Really?
If you like the Joker one, read. And I'm not just saying that as a Superman Lex Luthor that.
I've always liked
genuinely. That is like good genuinely Lex Luthor. Fucking like good. Yeah. But anyway, have a read of that. That one's fucking genuinely good as well. So Batman vs. Robin.
Batman vs. Robin is just pure fun. Shazam, easy. Any words that you have to say against it, go ahead, get them on. Let's run through these movies for the next little bit of time. Because I got to get out of here, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've got it. No, I've got you as well. I think you sent this on me my private message.
Huh? What are you talking about? Nothing that doesn't happen on stream exists.
We might have to do if you don't mind, like a part 2 when we're less busy. But plan
it.
Plan it. Batman vs. Robin, I just find very forgettable. Like, to be honest, I honestly don't remember that much about it, but I don't remember specifically enjoying it that much either.
They have Flamingo, bro.
That's Flamingo. You could probably finesse me on this, just make up a story, and I'll be like, "Oh, that actually sounds pretty
I remember
good."
That. That was great.
I just thought it was one of those. It's like you could have. I would have rather you just adapt a graphic novel. If that's the level of story you can come up with, just adapt the graphic novel. It would be better for me. So yeah, like Batman vs. Robin. I'll let you. Do you know what? I'll give you this one. You say it's a Shazam.
Yo,
because
it was
I don't remember it.
No. Realistically, it's probably Snydery.
Okay.
Realistically, it's Snydery, but I really enjoyed it. It's just so much fun, and watching Dick be Batman, I think, is a fascinating because he's so different.
That's it.
He's so different from Bruce, and it's just there's a lot of really, it's really really great, but the main villain isn't really a villain. The story really is just about Batman and Robin like beefing the whole time, trying to work out their relationship. And as much as I love it, it's like WandaVision.
So is it actually Batman? Is it actually?
No,
sorry, go on. WandaVision.
No, Bruce is gone.
Finish your point.
Bruce is gone. But it's just like, it's how I feel about WandaVision. The characters that I'm there to watch, they do a great job with those characters, and then the other guys, the villains or whatever. The other antagonists and stuff, like, I just don't really care about that as much. It's really about watching these characters develop their relationship, and I thought they did a great job with it. And it's fucking beautiful, and all the fight scenes are amazing. And it's a lot of fun, man. It's funny. But it's, I don't know.
So
I really like
2 questions then. It isn't actually Batman v Robin, it's Dick v
it's
Damian.
Batman. Dick is Batman. Dick is being Batman while Bruce is gone.
Yeah, but
Bruce
that's not
missing.
Batman v Robin. That's Dick v Robin. I don't care if he's wearing a Batman suit. He ain't Batman unless it's Bruce. So that's weird in and of itself. If it's not actually Batman facing off against Damian, or Bruce facing off against Damian, that's really weird. No? False advertising? No? A little bit?
I don't think so. Wait, hold on, because I might be confusing the comic with the movie then, because in the comic it was definitely Dick and Robin trying to work out their stuff, but it might be Bruce in the movie.
I'm not saying it as a critique. I just like because I can't even remember if that's the case. I'm just like,
yeah, that's
a weird thing.
So I'm also not remembering. So this might be, I might be wrong about this actually. I think Batman versus Robin is Bruce because I think Dick shows up, and this is the one where Dick and Robin kind of beat each other up a little bit, but Dick wins in the end. And I think this is the one with when Dick beat up Bronze Tiger.
Mm.
And so
I've got to be honest. This era of Batman movies did like I remember Batman: Soul of the Dragon. Like even though it's in the Snydery level,
it just came out though. Like Soul of the Dragon just came out.
Me,
like
after I finished watching these Batman, after I watched these Batman movies, Batman Bad Blood, Batman vs. Robin, even Batman Hush, they almost blended into each other. They were all about the same level, I think, and they just blended into each other quite, like they were good. I was entertained, but it didn't do anything new with Batman, nothing interesting. Like I remember the entire plot of Batman Year One, and it's not because I read the comic or Batman Under the Red Hood or, any of those movies. If I'm engaged in it, like it fully gets me, and I watched them. I properly watched all of these movies because I love the DCAU. So the fact that I just forgot the plot says something in and of itself, like those movies.
That's how memory works. Like, that doesn't really say anything. That doesn't have to.
No, but they blended into each other. The whole thing with Damian.
Well, they were sequels. They were sequels. They were stories that did blend into each other. So
okay, it's fair enough.
I don't even understand what that really means.
I'm gonna let you decide. Where
I would Snydery. Batman vs. Robin, I would put Snydery because.
And in relation to Batman: Soul of the Dragon and Batman: The Killing Joke, is it?
I didn't really connect with Soul of the Dragon that much, and The Killing Joke is marred by the first 20 minutes of it.
You're not putting it above Soul of the Dragon.
I didn't connect with it. I was right. Shout out to you, Tony. I appreciate you, fan.
What did he say? Yellow.
No, but I don't. Right. I don't know. Was that the?
But look.
I don't think that's the movie, though. I don't think that's the movie.
Soul of the Dragon is a fun fucking movie. I don't even think it should. Why is it in Snydery? Did you make me put it in Snydery?
You had it there. I wasn't here for Soul of the Dragon. You put it there because it was your instinct.
You fucking Obi-Wan.
I wasn't here for that. I wasn't here for that. I had nothing to do with that.
In Star Wars, the Obi-Wan Kenobi move, I swear to God, you just Jedi mind tricked me and shit. That's a fun movie, dude. It's not as good as these.
Here you go, moving shit for no reason. You got to stop this. This has to stop. This has to stop. I did not connect with that, man. It was all like, it was just Bruce Wayne. I was like, it was Bruce Wayne versus Bruce Lee the whole time. I was like, whatever.
Yeah, but it was fun. It was just a fun,
sure. It may have been.
Let's make Batman into a 70s kung fu movie. And then it had a banging score as well, like, which was different from the Archerverse movies. But anyway, so tell me, is Batman vs. Robin better than The Killing Joke? Because I'll accept your opinion on that.
Yeah, no, it is better than The Killing Joke, but The Killing Joke is marred by the first 20 minutes. It's like the rest of the movie, it just completely changes the context for the rest of the movie. And they ruined it. They made that movie's bad. They made that movie bad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they did it.
Batman and Harley, I believe this is called, and I'm sure this is going to be probably
we could kick
first
some ice.
And only.
Yeah,
let's kick some ice. Trash, bro.
Kick some ice.
Complete trash. Batman fanboyism. Can you at least agree with me on that? That's Batman fanboyism at its fucking worst. Everything about Batman.
I don't know what you mean by fanboyism. I think that they thought they had a market there, but I think even they realized that was bad.
And also, this motherfucker, Bruce Timm, is a little bit overrated and shit, man. Like, because a lot of the brothers did some stuff to in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited that made those shows kick off. And yeah, he was good during the Batman animated series, but like his stuff in the DC animated universe, not that great.
Probably.
Not that great.
Probably. It's a different time, and we have new creators who had Bruce Timm's work to build off of, while he was probably getting rusty and collecting dust. It happens sometimes. You legacy guys got to just go sit down for a little while. I think so.
No, I'm not saying that. I understand all that.
I'm saying it.
I understand all that.
I said it.
Look.
I just wanted to be clear. You're not saying it. I am saying it. I just wanted that to be very clear.
You need to. You're. Anyway, I see how you go, player. Anyway, but look, my point is this. To be clear. My point is this: that Batman the Animated Series, even that is lauded over too much. That's another thing that's lauded. It's not quite. I wouldn't quite put it as overrated.
Is Batman the Animated Series on this list?
No.
Then we need to not talk about it. I'm not spending 40 minutes with you. We have like 17 minutes. I'm not spending 17 minutes with you trying to convince you that the animated series is great.
It would have been Shazam. It would have been Shazam. Justice League animated series would have been. They could be a good people.
Which one? Justice League or Justice League Unlimited? Because they were very.
Both of them.
Both of them. One of them is significantly better than the other one.
Well, maybe I'd put them one like a bit like in a different position because I am ordering them. But like in general, Justice League Unlimited is awesome.
It's incredible, absolutely incredible series.
All right,
we really desperately need a question. Batman. We need a question movie. Like we desperately need a question. And give me the girl question. Yeah. I don't care what Renee, whatever. I don't give a fuck. But we need a question. No. We need one.
I would like Renee to team up with the question, definitely. But that question was too cool. That guy from the thing was too cool. I need that. I need some. What is his name? Victor.
I can't remember, but he was great. He was incredible. What was his name?
Somebody in the comments, because I've even read one of his graphic novels recently. Someone in the comments tell us the civilian name of the question. Awesome character. All right, Son of the Batman. Dude, again, you're gonna have to tell me.
Vic Sage.
Vic Sage. There we go. You're gonna have to tell me. I would put this on MCU level, basically, but I don't remember it that well. I know. Yeah. Doesn't he fight like the Court of Owls or something? And there's
Batman, the Court of Owls are involved. The Talon, not the Court of Owls, but Talon from the Court of Owls is involved. Yeah. Ra's al Ghul, Talia is all there. Like it's all. I really like that.
There's a future version of Robin. It wasn't entertaining. Actually, you know what?
No, that's Bad Blood. The future version of Robin.
Oh, okay. So then, Son of Batman. Then
no, but you put Bad Blood below it now. You're confused. It is, but Son of Batman is right next to Batman vs. Robin. As I think Bad Blood should be, but you hated on Bad Blood because you're trash.
Okay, so you think it's there? I think they're all about equal. So they should be either Snydery or MCU. These Batman movies from that second phase, for the most part, they were not the best movies from that era. The Batman movies were the weakest ones from that.
I don't like the Killing Joke being next to. I think you gotta move. I think we gotta move the Killing Joke down.
All right.
I think it has to go down. I think you have to move. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess we'll just leave it because you really didn't like Bad Blood, so we'll leave it there. But because I don't think Batman vs. Robin and Son of Batman are the same as a Killing Joke. I think they're markedly better.
You might agree with me on this. I think this one, Reign of the Superman, is another overrated movie.
Yeah, absolutely. I
really do. It's even good. I hated the voice acting of Lex Luthor. I thought whoever they got to play Lex Luthor was fucking horrible. He had this really weird, whiny voice. I think it's the guy from The Office. I'm just like, nah, that ain't no Lex Luthor. Then you had, fuck me, it was. I'm gonna get savage for having just said that. I know Pickle, if he heard my last comment, is gonna savage me for saying that. But then there was. I just thought it was nice. It was nice entertainment, but like people go on like this is a much greater adaptation. And again, I'll say this for the Superman, Death of Superman storyline and the Reign of the Superman. Not one of the best Superman comics, in my opinion.
No.
Not one of the greatest Superman comics of all time.
No.
And this, to an extent, apart from putting it in the New 52, was somewhat faithful to that comic. And that's why it's not that interesting. It's Superman.
I don't see why you said apart from putting it in the New 52. Like, what does that even mean? All right, I get you guys hate the New 52, but that was completely irrelevant to the point that you were making.
No. They tried to make it match up with their New 52 timeline, right?
Oh, which obviously, with the jeans, with Dungaree, Lee Dungaree's Superman. I got you.
Yeah, Superman dating Wonder Woman, all of that bullshit.
I felt like that was a good matchup. I like that relationship.
No, it wasn't a matchup. It was a terrible matchup. But anyway, let's not go into that for now. That was one of the things.
But is it as bad as Harley and Batman and Harley, whatever?
Oh, you think? No, it's not that bad. No, it's still fucking. It's entertaining, dude. It's Snydery. To me, I'm not.
So Snydery, you're out of control. It's not Snydery. It's not.
Snydery. It might even be Shazam, but just lower end of Shazam. It's definitely better than the Batman movies.
Steel was good.
It's better than the Batman movies. At least I remember what the fuck happened.
Reign of the. That's because you fucking love Superman. See, this is what I'm talking about.
I love Batman.
This is what I'm talking. Whatever, it's fine. No, I get it. Go ahead, put it wherever you want. It doesn't matter. It's fucking stupid.
It's not stupid. Tell me what you think quickly, and then we'll move on. But I think
it's so
it's
dumb.
Proper Snydery for me.
It's so pointless, and it's so I just don't. I don't care. It's not. So, Superman Son of Tomorrow is such a great Superman movie. And this Reign of the Supermen is a Superman movie without Superman.
Yeah. Well, yes. Sorry, repeat that again because what philosophical.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just get rid of it. I hate it.
You hate the movie because it's a Superman movie without
in
Superman
Blackest Night. In Blackest Night.
All right. Oh, right.
Easy.
You think it's in Blackest Night? Nah, it's a fun movie. It's got good action. It's it's got a somewhat interesting villain with that mystery. Yeah, Steel was great. There's the mystery with Superboy was the weakest one. I hated Superboy, and I've hated him from back in the day anyway. Just him as a character is just terrible. But I thought they did Violator. Is it Violator? No, it's not Violator. That sounds wrong. That sounds wrong.
That's Spawn.
No. It's what's the fucking guy's name?
Which character are you talking about?
It's there's three Supermans, right? There's the one that was
go ahead.
There was the one that was basically he's created in the Fortress of Solitude to be around to protect the Earth while Superman's gone. Something V.
Was it Vindicator? Was it?
No, it's not Vindicator. That doesn't make sense. But but in any case, he was cool, and I did like the cyborg. I like the cyborg Superman as well. I thought Eradicator. There we go. So both of them were really cool, and I thought the cyborg Superman villainous turn kind of was interesting. I liked also it really showed the spirit of Superman. Even without powers, he'll find a way to do the right thing or save the world. So I liked all those aspects of it. So there's fun to be had in it. I just don't think it's as good as everyone makes out. It was people were talking about it being a return to form, and I'm like, dude, the first phase smokes that movie. Anyway, so I've put it in Snydery. I would have actually put it in Shazam as the last one, so I put it in Snydery as a kind of compromise with you.
Consolation. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Suicide Squad, Hell to Play.
I fucking love that movie, bro.
Banger.
I fucking love that movie.
Banger. That
Yo,
goes.
it's yeah. I think
That goes.
it fuck man when the reverse
It could be
flash.
this.
Yo, oh my god, and
It
even
could be this.
Bronze Tiger's Bronze Tiger's voice actor. I think his name is Bobby Brown, which is weird because it's not Bobby Brown or Billy Brown. It's Billy Brown. Yo, bro, the whole Bronze Tiger thing. I was just like, wow, just
Yeah.
but then the reverse
Flash was awesome.
Yo, he's one of my
He was
favorite villains,
awesome
the
in
Reverse
this movie,
Flash. One of my
and the
favorite
way they
villains, man.
connected it with Flashpoint was awesome.
Oh my god,
Amanda Waller was so on point in
it
this. I love
just
her, like the way she just is using the team to like get this thing that's just for her. Like she's such a great
her
character.
go-to move, just her go-to move.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so
But-
good. It was so good. Everything about it. Frost too. It's everything. It was so good. It was everything. It was great. It didn't need Batman. It didn't have Batman. It didn't need Batman,
Yeah.
and it was amazing.
Was it better?
I love it.
Was it better than the Arkham one? You think, or do you Assault on Arkham?
I think it was, but I think it was. I think it's easy to say that it was, because the villain cast, the cast was way more interesting, you know, and it wasn't. They didn't have Joker and Batman distracting from the Suicide Squad. You know what I'm saying? But that movie's also great too. Assault on Arkham. I think it goes above Assault on Arkham. And Hell to Pay was fucking amazing, man. I'm gonna watch that again. Actually, I fucking love that shit.
It's really good. It is really good. I would put it in. They Can Be a Good People for now, but it might go down to Shazam depending on like because it's low down on They Can Be a Good People.
It would be a high Shazam. Like I would put Hell to Pay above Batman Under the Red Hood. Because
that's true. That is true. It's not as good as Batman Under the Red Hood. Definitely not.
Yeah, like it just, but still, I think you got Batman Under the Red Hood too low, to be honest. So I think they both should be in.
This is Snydery, dude. You're right. Proper Snydery.
I told you.
I'm looking at it. Now I'm looking at it.
I had nothing to do with that. You were trying to sell me on that because you hated Batman and Robin because you're a hater. But like. It's just not. I don't even think it belongs there, to be honest. But whatever.
Dude, Batman Under the Red Hood might have to go into They Could Be a Good People as well. I'm just looking at it now.
Both of them. I think Batman Under the Red Hood and Suicide Squad both should be at the top. I think that they're both amazing films. I just think Suicide. They're both amazing,
but they're low down for me. They really are low down for me on that.
Whatever. Right. Only because people like them. I know when people like stuff, you can't like it.
No, it's only when you like. Stuff.
Maybe I shouldn't sing Suicide. Maybe I shouldn't sing Hell to Pay's praises too much, or you might find some reason to like hate on it.
Justice League vs. the Teen Titans is pretty fun, but there's some musical scenes like them just being teenagers. I was just like, dude, I know you're trying to sell to a market or whatever, like trying to get like the kids like down with like, but it was, trying to make it relatable by them playing, what is it, Dance Mania or Dance, whatever.
I don't remember what it's called, but I remember this Dance Revolution.
But otherwise, it's pretty decent as a movie. I think
I loved it. I loved the kids versus the adults. Cyborg, Starfire being one of the adults. I thought like being of the Justice League. I thought that was cool. Training up the kids. I thought that was dope. Cyborg obviously great. I thought it was
great.
Shazam.
It's a Shazam. I think it's a Shazam like easily. It's not one of the great, like flawless, like almost, just like completely gets you into it from beginning to end. But yeah, it's an easy Shazam. Hello?
But having it over Batman versus Robin doesn't sit right with me.
Oh yeah, it does.
No,
it's right with me. It's definitely
thank you.
With me. All right, here we go. This is a Bruce Timm movie, and it's probably his best one. It's probably his best one in the DCAU, and you're right, it is not that good.
No. Well, at first I was like, it's trash, but like thinking back about it, it was interesting. I thought it was an interesting look at these whatever they were characters. I thought it was it was trash. It's not let's kick some ice. It's not let's kick some ice. We can start probably what you would call MCU, what I would call BVS. No.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think
because the monster thing was weird. It's like vampires and like it was weird, but I don't know.
To me, I thought it was more I actually like the short movies they brought out before it came out much more than they actually. Like they did a couple of shorts where they were like, you know, it was Superman, this world's Superman taking on that world's Brainiac, and they did one with Batman going up against that world's Harley Quinn. That stuff was really cool, like dark and edgy and cool. But the actual movie itself, again, premise really, really interesting. Execution, all right. I'll go Snydery. I'm going Snydery with it. It's Bruce Timm's best.
But having the trio be bad guys
better than all of these. Yeah, go on.
Hell, you're out of your mind. All right. See, this is the shit that I'm talking about. So having the trio be the fucking triune, if you will, having the top three be the bad guys and the different versions that they had of them and all that stuff. I thought that was really, really cool. But then, like, Man-Bat, and I don't care. I don't like vampires. I have a thing against vampires. But yeah,
but it made sense. I like the way they used, you know, like different villains or whatever to be like, oh yeah, they're the Batman or the Superman in this universe, and like, is it, you know, nature or nurture that turns these people into who they become? I like that whole theme. I thought the ending was pretty weak, like them just being heroes at the end. Like I thought that was weird.
Yeah, I liked what they did with Lex Luthor, though.
What did they do with Lex again? Oh yeah, he was like a good guy, like kind of.
Right, they fake killed him, and then he came. But he's obviously a good
Waller
guy.
was the president and shit. That was cool.
Yeah. It was a lot of weird stuff. I don't know. It was. I'd have to watch it again. It's definitely not better than Batman and Robin, or Batman vs. Robin and Son of Batman, though. Like, that's out of control.
I respectfully
I don't care about any of the characters in that movie, Gods and Monsters. It's purely like a think piece.
No, just for having different takes on.
Absolutely, but that doesn't.
It's interesting enough.
That's think piece. That's think piece stuff. That's like this.
Yeah, and it's more entertaining.
This mental exercise that the movie is, and that's cool. But for a movie, I have to care about the characters, and I did not care about the characters at all.
I could see that, dude. Did we put? No.
What now?
Batman Gotham by Gaslight is better than all of those Batman vs. Robin and Son of Batman. And
you're out of control.
I'll leave it where it is, but that I'm just looking at that.
It's too niche. It's too niche to be better. Right. It's too niche.
All right, let's go into the next one because we'll argue this all day. But like, War.
It's time to go.
Justice League War. Oh, you've got to get out of here. All right. Well, this is part one. No, I've got to go. I'm gonna.
All right,
I have to be on a call by 5, but like, so I want to do as many of these as possible before we go. All right.
So amazing.
Justice League War, fucking amazing, but it's
amazing, top tier.
It lacks. It's just a straight up action thing. It lacks anything, you know, beyond just being a cool, like, oh, you know, the Justice League get together and against the villain, and they have some cool action.
But they had never worked. They had never worked together before then.
Yeah, no, I know. I like it. I'm not saying that.
And they were like kind of beefing with each other a little bit.
You can't put it on the same level as like these movies that have really good character work, as well as just like a big action kind of thing. So I'm putting it as a Shazam. It's a really fun movie, but it's not even as good as Assault on Arkham, but it's definitely better than Justice League Teen Titans, I think.
It's better than Assault on Arkham. Although you think it's better than Assault on Arkham? Yeah, I think it's better than Assault on Arkham. I think it's just easier. to get into.
The Joker alone in Assault on Arkham makes
It was
me
amazing. Oh yeah, I know, but it's like it's cool. I guess maybe I give it more because it surprised me so much because I don't really care about the heroes as much as DC. Like I love when they can do stuff, but it surprised me by making even Superman was amazing in Justice League War, and I hate Superman. Right, but I really like Wonder Woman. I loved what they did with Batman and the Green Lantern. I was like, oh yes, keep doing this. Like, just keep giving me this. But
Shazam was fire. All of them were fire.
Shazam was great. Yeah, it really made me love those heroes for being heroes. Whereas I already loved the Joker, and while he was great in Assault on Arkham, I think I only give War more for surprising me. I think that's really because it surprised me how much I really liked it. So
let me ask you a question. Do you think Justice League War is better than Zack Snyder's Justice League?
Absolutely. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
I knew it'd say it.
Absolutely, bro. It's not even like a real. Yes.
You're insane. You're insane, bro.
There's actual stakes in Justice League War. How many humans did they save in Justice League War?
That doesn't matter. It's like it's the whole thing. Like stakes is one element.
Stakes don't matter.
Stakes is one ingredient, which is cool. And I dude, I knew you'd say it. I knew you'd have to take that leap.
Zack Snyder's Justice League and go to something so too long. Far. Why were those bitches singing for Aquaman for 8 minutes?
Does it have worse moments in it than Justice League War? Absolutely, but it's more than it's about the sum of its parts. And
why was Darkseid even in the movie? What was the point of Darkseid being in the movie? There was no reason for Darkseid to be in the movie, just to be disappointed in Steppenwolf.
Do you know what? They
built up Darkseid. So you know what? Hold on. Let me be fair. The opening scene, the war, the past with the gods and Darkseid showing up for the first time, that whole little war thing, that was great. Gets a lot of points. Incredible. The Superman versus the remnants of the Justice League without Superman. Great stuff. It was also great in the Justice League. So, like, that's just a really good scene, right? Zack shot it. He gets all responsibility for it. I don't think he really needed to change it that much for his version of Justice League. It was great. He added a little more to it. I liked it. But I just at no point in time did I really get a sense of how serious this situation
was. I don't know why you didn't get that sense, but I'm going to leave it there. I'll let you, for this one time, I'm not even going to argue with you just for the sake of time, because, I'm just not going to argue with you, but I will come back. We will redo this debate one day because I cannot, I'll disagree with you wholeheartedly on that. Justice League Doom. Oh my gosh.
Oh my fucking love that
favorite ones.
And they changed it from how it was in the comic, like the Tower of Babel. They changed it and it was still amazing. So I was blown away.
This is definitely behind the Batman and
I would put it in front of the first one.
In front of the first one.
Yeah.
And then the one thing I'd say about this is the comic is better.
Yes.
The comic is way better.
Absolutely.
I think some of the changes with Vandal Savage rather than Ra's al Ghul. I know you want to introduce Vandal Savage and make him a thing.
Sure. And we need
I get it, but I still preferred Ra's al Ghul doing it.
Because it makes sense that Ra's, because he's intimately obsessed with Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
The detective.
And just the whole storyline of Justice League, the Tower of Babel, for me, it has these great comic book elements that contrast with its darkness a little better, like the darkness of the actual comic. Like just the main plot line of the villain is so bonkers, right? What the villain is trying to do, what Ra's al Ghul is trying to do. And I would have loved to see that actually play out in the animated film, because it's just a much more, weird comic book villain thing to do without spoiling it. In Tower of Babel, but this is good. I think it could have been longer.
All of the animated movies, well, except for the trash ones, obviously. All of the good animated movies could have been longer, but I think, get in and get out, man. Get in and get out. Don't let me at any point think, this is a good time for a bathroom break. You know what I'm saying? Like, tell me what the fuck, have me there for as much time as you need to tell me this story, and take me on those ups and downs, man. Like, just let me enjoy this ride. And I think animation is really good for that kind of stuff, especially because you don't have the opportunity for the acting that you get with live action. So just just give me just give me what you got to give me and get out.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, it's better to be left wanting more than to overextend your welcome or whatever. But that being said, I still think it's a valid critique of the movie. To say that maybe they pack a little bit too much in there into a short run times when this story naturally seems to need more space to breathe, and you see that in something in something like Batman, The Dark Knight Returns, that these movies really could, if they're engaging for as long as they are, and there's comic book source material there that is engaging, just extend it, dude. Make it a little bit longer. It doesn't not that much longer, but maybe another 15 minutes. I think this film could have even been richer, but great movie.
No, I agree. Doom is one of the occasions. Doom is definitely one of the times where they could have taken more time and fleshed out and let us sit in some of the drama a little more. I think that it's one of those times where they could do it. Like, generally I say, tell me the story, but with Doom, I agree with you. And also comic versus the movie, the way the traps or whatever they were, I don't know what you call them, the devices, the contingency plans that Batman had were way more interesting in the comics than in the movie. And the movie was still amazing. That just goes to show you how strong the concept is, I think. And it deserves to be up there.
Oh, by the way, Pickle, I would say American Alien, I really like. I like Superman Earth One, the whole series. I also like Superman Birthright. I think those are some really good ones to read, just for examples of good Superman comics, like modern takes. That they ruffle up a bit, like the purity of the character, so it's like has a little bit of a modern spin on it. Like, it's the best way I can describe it. But anyway, so next one, Justice. I don't want to talk about this one too long. I think it's trash. I think it's forgettable trash. I think it's above. It's above the Harley Quinn one, which is, it's almost disgusting. That's how bad the Harley Quinn one was. There were bits of it that I was literally just like, I don't even want to watch this movie.
This is the one that I didn't finish watching.
Yeah, it's that bad.
So I didn't know how it ends. I don't know how it ends.
So you know what I'm talking about, where you can't even remember a movie.
I was just like, bad. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this.
It's just not. Bruce Timm, I
think I stopped and watched Stranger Things. I think is what I did when I was whatever.
Yeah, that's because it was more entertaining, and it made Stranger Things seem better, right?
Like, I was like, wow, these kids are hilarious.
Yeah, it's super entertaining, these kids. Dude, it is. Bruce Timm needs to be stopped. I'm serious. Just stay as a producer, dude. His ideas for the DCAU have been not great. Now, having said what I said about the death of Superman, the second part, I actually really liked the first part. Simple concept. Superman takes on Doomsday.
Yeah.
Doomsday takes on the Justice League. Each one of them is like, one. It's like they keep upping themselves with which boss he has to face. Flash, Wonder Woman are the final bosses before he takes on Superman. Epic fights. I think they were epic fights. Doomsday's, he's a solid.
What? I'm not being fair. That's villain. My Superman bias. This movie was really, really good, actually.
It was good.
Because I remember watching it and thinking, I would play this video game as Doomsday and beat up the Justice League. Like I
Yeah,
would
exactly.
definitely do that. So
Exactly.
yeah.
I think it's better than the Teen Titans one. It's definitely not better than War.
I don't think it's a Shazam. Well,
I think it's a Shazam.
sure.
Dude.
No, yeah, no. Death of Superman is. The Return of Superman is not.
Not so much.
But yeah,
not
Death
so
of
much.
Superman is. Yeah.
Where's my
Sure.
where have I? Oh, I put it on Snyder. Yeah. All right. Cool. It's better than that. Sorry, it's better than that. Soul of the Dragon. Soul of the Dragon.
I still think that you shouldn't have Batman vs. Robin and Son of Batman so low on that tier. I think it should at least be in the front of that tier. I don't understand how you have
my
Gods and Monsters above it. I just didn't.
It's my list play.
No, it's your list, all right. Now, just, guys, be clear.
Your commentary,
this
man.
is only Nerdman's list.
This one's pretty good as well. I mean, if you take away from the fact that they've done the film again, the Superman Doomsday was pretty good. It's not like I'm going to put it on Snydery, but I don't think it's controversial in any way. It's just a good movie.
It's just not as good. Yeah.
It's just not as good as the second one, but it's just a good movie. I don't know where to put it though. Should I put it like the top? I don't know why they did the two movies. I don't know why they did it again, but like hey.
It was weird.
Yeah. But it's good.
But it was also a different time. Like Doomsday came out long before the Death of Superman, right? So
but they did all of the story in just one story, which is better because like in a way, like Doomsday is not that like Doomsday's an overrated villain. Like he's just a guy, like just a character who he's got better as he's evolved. But when he first, arrived on the scene.
That's super meta, huh? That's really meta.
Yeah,
about
exactly. Yeah. But when he first came on the scene, he was just like the Hulk with bones, basically, like with protruding bones.
Yeah.
And there was no reason really that Superman didn't just throw him in the sun, to be honest, other than his no kill rule or something like that, I guess.
I don't see why that applies to Doomsday.
Yeah, it doesn't. It shouldn't really apply to Doomsday. He's a mindless beast. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, they did all of it in one movie, and it was a pretty entertaining movie from beginning to end. So I like Superman Doomsday.
I didn't like it.
It's not the one that I would be like, oh, let me watch this, like, straight away or anything. Wonder Woman. I like this one. I like this one a lot. So, what do you think? Go on, hurt my feelings.
I don't think I saw this. I don't remember it.
You should watch it, man. It's very good. Very good.
I'm sure I did because I really liked Wonder Woman during this era of the DC AU, but I don't remember seeing it.
It's got a great version.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely didn't see it. Now I remember. Yeah. I don't like Greek gods. I don't like a lot of things about Greece because of the disrespect of all the cultures that came before Greece. But so I might have been biased and like I'm not watching that shit. I don't care. I remember seeing a trailer and thinking, Greek gods again. And I think like Gods of Egypt. Like I just watched Gods of Egypt. Which has nothing to do with this movie, but it was just like I'm sick of goddamn. I just was mad.
Mate, we can't be dealing with your prejudice right now, but this is definitely
that's all it was.
For me,
it was just...
for me, it's they can be a good people. If you haven't watched it, give it a chance. I think it's a really fun movie. My only problem is I don't know where to put it. I love it because it's Wonder Woman, but honestly, it should have been longer. This movie. This is a super short movie. It's like. It doesn't give you time to breathe, right? Mm-hmm. You almost feel like it's an episode of an animated show. It's barely just over an hour, maybe an hour, 15 minutes, something like that. Like maybe even, I think it's 70 minutes. So it's literally an hour and 10 minutes. So this movie could have had a lot, like if it basically what's there is as entertaining as any of these movies. Outside maybe Batman, the Dark Knight Returns. That being said, because they didn't give it enough time to flesh out, these movies just have 15, 20 more minutes of being like really good movies, really good movie extra. So you know, that's how it kind of shakes. So I don't know, maybe I have to put it last because of that. They just have more good movie in them, the rest of them.
I think you might even have to put it down a tier if it's lacking, if it left you lacking, because you're supposed to leave people wanting more, but it sounds like it kind of left you lacking.
No, it didn't leave me lacking so much as just it definitely left me wanting more, but it was a major criticism. It's like, and I'm not even saying this because I think Wonder Woman deserves like a longer fucking thing. If it didn't, if it was a movie that deserves that length of time, I would just say, yeah, like fine. But actually, I think, you know, it really could have, it really could have helped the movie just in general, just maybe about 10 more minutes, just to flesh out maybe the villain, give a couple more villain scenes.
Sure.
So, you know, all of that kind of good stuff. But
yeah,
action is excellent. Characterization is good. Great, like, take on the origin story. Tells you everything you need to know, but is really fun and actually has a really good villain in Ares in it. So
yeah,
good movie.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch it because I'm pretty sure that came out before. No, that came out like right after Justice League Frontier or New Frontier, and I was blown away by how good that was. But
guys, I think I'm gonna leave it here. Because I want to do these movies together, because so we'll have this as a part 1, and later I'm gonna rank these movies. Hopefully, Yellow, you can join me again. I don't know what you're doing a little bit later, if we want to just finish it today. I've got an interview right now.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, I've got an interview right now, so I have to like do that. So go on. What were you saying? Do you have time?
Well, just in 4 hours, in 4 hours, I'm going to be on the Midday Mashup for 2 hours, and then after that,
I think this interview is going to take like 30 minutes max. So
but I also want to get away from my computer because I've been on here for like 2 hours with you. So.
Right.
No, you know what I mean? Like, fine. I want to, I'm going to go eat and shit. I don't like to be staring at the screens for a long time. That's all.
So do you not want to do it today? Is that like the basic thing?
Later today. It could be like later, but I don't know how much more day you have in your day because it's like 4 p.m. for you. And then like 5 hours is going to be nighttime. So it's...
Oh no, I'm fine because I'm doing a stream. Anyway, let me talk about this with you off the stream. But hopefully we'll figure out a time to do the rest of these today, because I think we should. Yeah,
if anything, we can do it again same time tomorrow, if that's possible.
Yeah, as well. So these we should be able to run through quite quickly. But I love these movies so much that I want to take, not too much time, but I don't want to just rush through them.
Yeah.
Like I'd have to right now. So, we'll either a little bit later today or tomorrow. I'll announce it on Twitter. So do follow me on Twitter if you haven't followed me.
Stay tuned, guys.
My Twitter handle isn't there, but it's with enough prep time. I'll maybe put it in the description box of this video. Secondly, we are doing Hot Takes Tuesdays today as well. I believe it is I know it's 9 p.m. my time, but I can't think what it is. So Pickle, if you're there, you could tell me the time. I think it's 4 and 5, so it'll be between 4 and 6 p.m. Central time. So Central Standard Time. So yeah, from 4 to about 6 o'clock we'll be doing it. So one on Pickle's channel. So join at Philosophical Pickle if you're not. Obviously, subscribe to him. Do subscribe, and then the second one will be done on my channel, and it's going to be a flaming hot take as per usual. I think this one is going to be an interesting one because we might have a bit more diversity in terms of agreement and disagreement. But that's me. Obviously, as well, Yellow. I know a lot of you follow Yellow's channel, but Yellow done it. Do subscribe to Yellow. No?
Does it?
Does it? Done it. Yellow does it. Sorry, I'm trying to read it.
I have done it. You feel what I'm saying? And I do it. And I did it. But like, I also does it.
Sorry, I was trying to read it from like the small screen.
Yellow does it, fam. On YouTube, you can find me, man. Check us out. You know how we be giving it up out there once a week. Stream with the gang. We're gonna actually be doing D&D tomorrow night, Wednesday. So you know what I mean, tune in if you're interested in that. Also later today, the Grey Council, fam. Don't miss out. In about 4 hours, we're gonna be live. The Grey Council on YouTube. Tune in. Me and my man Lunga holding it down over there. Feel free, nerd man, to come enjoy the show whenever you like. We talking nerdy news. You feel what I'm saying? So if you're free, hit me up and
I'll join a bit of that stream probably. I think
we can do it. We can definitely do it.
Yeah, cool, man. Thanks so much for the invite there. And yeah, like apart from that, guys, do me a favor, high five, smash the like button, subscribe, comment, love the comments. Tell me about your rankings of the DCAU. Am I completely mad, a perverse lunatic for my ranking so far? Or am I
and please guys address the way he has categorized these tiers. Like that's the main atrocity that has taken place here today. It's Snydery because it's polarizing. Yeah, trash is often polarizing because Nutjobs thinks it's good.
Well, I agree with you on some of the Snyder movies. So, but anyway, apart from that, guys, I'm gonna see you on the flip side, and I love you 3000. Peace. It's taking too long. Peace, guys.